Hello and welcome to News Morning here on Newday on TV3. My name is Beatrice Seru. Coming up in the next few minutes. Rescue operations and the Aveno building collapse site with 2 confirmed dead and 2 others receiving medical care. Also on the program this morning, Ashanti Regional Minister appeals to striking doctors and nurses at Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital to resume work today. And much later on the program, a third batch of Ghanaians fleeing South Africa arrives home, bringing the total number of evacuees to nearly 1,000. All of these stories and more in the next few minutes. My name is Beatrice Seru. Thank you very much once again for joining us on the program this morning. Now, patient care at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital is likely to worsen as registered nurses and midwives have joined doctors on strike. This is to protest the suspension of the CEO of the hospital, who has been asked to stay away from the facility for 2 weeks.
And has ordered the doctors to appear before it on Wednesday, 10 June 2026. The health minister, meanwhile, says government is putting in place a digital system to enable one check for available beds in various hospitals.
The president has directed me to go to Parliament for legislation on emergency response. 2, we are using digital health or IT system to have visibility on empty beds or all the beds we have in this country. So we are piloting the regional and the teaching hospitals. 3 is essentially the president has instructed us to open up a facility, an emergency center at Bema Camp to the public. So that becomes a stabilization center.
Well, the Ministry of Health is also urging all affected staff to reconsider their decision and return to work in the interest of patients and the general population. A statement released last night noted that the decision to suspend the CEO was for institutional accountability and for investigations to proceed. The statement stated further that the ministry acknowledges the concerns of staff and emphasizes that the dialogue and established dispute resolution channels remain the best path to addressing grievances. We stay on health because the Ministry of Health has, and that's what I just brought you, but we'll bring you some more as and when we have the latest on it. But we also do know that the Ashanti Regional Minister has asked the doctors to reconsider their position and return to work.
Following the issues that have been happening, I spoke with the Health Minister, and on his direction, we need to take steps to see how best we can have these issues resolved. So we came to meet with the union leaders to get their perspective and see how best we'll be able to resolve it. Thankfully, we've reached a resolution. However, they will make the communication themselves. So I'm sure that in the course of time, they'll do that communication. Once they do the communication, then we'll carry that from there. But I want to assure the public that Ashanti region is central when it comes to health delivery. But we carry the burden of both the northern, the middle, and the Ashanti itself. So if we have our only tertiary hospital breakdown in this manner, then most definitely it's going to affect us. So we're taking all the steps in making sure that these issues are de-escalated, most importantly. Because once it lingers on, there's a patient that suffer, so that we'll be able to have that. So I want to thank the health minister, the union leaders for their cooperation in this whole issue, and thank the RCC team for joining us in this resolution. So we'll communicate the resolution to the health minister. The union leaders will also come out, then as soon as possible, we implement the issues thereof.
We return to Accra now, where 2 persons are feared dead, with 2 others currently receiving treatment after a story building collapsed at Aveno. Now, this is the second building to collapse in just a week, sparking concerns about public safety. A report by Stanley Nibleu.
A torrential rain in the early hours of Sunday exposed the vulnerability of yet another building in the capital, as a 3-story edifice housing several businesses tumbled down. Reports say portions of the structure first caved in, while moments later, the rest of the standing structure followed. Metallic container shops and their contents destroyed, while heavy rubble that fell on the Sudan Sahara Mosque caused it to partially cave in. 4 persons were trapped under the rubble. However, an intervention by a joint rescue team comprising the Ghana National Fire Service, the Ghana Police Service, the military, and the National Disaster Management Organization was able to initially save 2 of the victims who were sleeping in the mosque at the time of the collapse. 5 earth-moving equipment and tipper trucks were deployed to excavate and evacuate the debris, paving the way for sniffer dogs to sense humans trapped. About 4 hours into the rubble search, the body of a 3rd victim was recovered. Rabiu, a caretaker of the building, identified the victim as Wisdom.
One of them now, I'm catching them say I don't know I to me do run on so now me my call about you are your friend of Wisdom. Them say oh no this building but Dana Durangu preoccupy. Them say 1 pillar na head and ebu here to know what you know about down to any security man. Into about down I say or person video so into no video no more na there. Them say I don't know ebu here into security man no fan say ana Wisdom no nka ono so all fan say na
Search has intensified for a 4th person, a sachet water vendor reported to be sleeping in front of the shops after her day's activities. The incident is the 2nd in 4 days and 3rd in the last 3 months. Vice President Professor Jenano Pukwajiman earlier visited the site to commiserate with persons affected. She urged for investigations into the structure collapse, adding that someone's negligence has caused the prevailing situation. Her position was reinforced by the Minister for the Interior, Mohamed Muntaka Mubarak, who disclosed that other structures within the capital have been earmarked for demolition by NADMO before the unfortunate happens.
We want to assure you that this cannot go unpunished. I mean, there are things that are natural and God will take care of the supernatural. But for the natural one, we have to take care of it. Look at the iron rods that are used. Look at even the quality of the concrete. We want to appeal to the disassemblies. They need to be up and doing. Currently, NADMO has identified about 16 buildings within the Greater Accra region that has to come down. We are going to ensure that coming into the week, they will go and get all those buildings down. We are currently doing the evacuations and they must bring all those buildings down.
Accra Mayor Michael Kpakpo Alote faulted the developer for not obtaining the requisite building permit before starting the construction.
This structure was built before I came to office. And from look of things, I learned it doesn't even have permits. To get permit, we have to make sure the structure you are putting there will not kill anybody tomorrow. So we cannot say because you know the mayor, within 2 days we can give you permits. When you want permits, make sure you go through the procedure. And when you are done with the procedure and something like this happens, you can hold the assembly responsible.
Materials used for the construction have also come under strict scrutiny.
Let us look at it from this angle. Those who sell the blocks that they use to build some of these buildings, ask them what kind of cement are they using. You know, the 32.5 cement is a cement that you use it to plastering a building. But a lot of these block sellers, they are using the 32.5 cement. Then they will use the 32.5 cement to cut about 60 pieces of blocks. Instead of them to use the 42, nobody checks them. So if nobody checks them, these are some of the things that we will see.
ACFO Rashid Kwame Nisau is the Accra Regional Fire Officer.
You can see that this particular building, a lot has been done and it was not done well. And that is what has resulted in this thing. So we hope that if it will spring up again, the same structure, the necessary engineering that is supposed to be advised for them to put up that structure, I think that is how we should go.
As the rains linger, citizens are impressing on duty bearers to intensify their interventions to prevent further loss of lives and property in the country. Stanley Niblo, TV3 News, Accra.
And let's stay a bit longer on the impact of the rains, because at Christian Village, one person has been reportedly swept away by floodwaters around the Okaikwe North and Ga East boundary. Now, the incident happened after a group of young people attempted to desilt a choked drain to prevent the area from flooding further. In the process, one of them was overpowered by the strong current and swept away. Community members say this tragedy could have been avoided if authorities had heeded the calls to desilt the drain, which they say has become a major threat anytime it rains. Now, a search is also said to be underway for the missing young man, while residents are renewing calls for immediate action. Still on this, residents of Tema Community 5 are bracing flood waters hours after Saturday's heavy downpour, which left several homes submerged in flood waters. The rains, which lasted about some hours, overwhelmed drains in parts of the community, forcing water into houses and leaving many families stranded. Affected residents say they woke up to water rapidly entering their homes, destroying household items, furniture, electronics, and personal belongings. Some residents were seen scooping water from their rooms, while others struggled to salvage valuables from the flooding. The flooding also disrupted movement within the area as sections of roads became flooded and difficult to access. Residents have attributed the recurring problem to poor drainage and blocked waterways, calling for urgent intervention from city authorities. Community members are now appealing for immediate support and long-term solutions to prevent further flooding. They are urging authorities to improve drainage infrastructure and intensify efforts to clear choked drains as the rainy season continues. Some more here, and a third batch of Ghanaians fleeing from South Africa have arrived, bringing the total number of repatriated Ghanaians to about 1,000. During his welcome address, Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs James Gyakye promised the government's assistance in helping them resettle and encouraged the returnees to contribute their skills and knowledge in building Ghana.
In the wake of the renewed xenophobic attacks in South Africa, an initial 300 Ghanaians voluntarily registered to leave the country. Within a period of 2 months, that number rose to over 1,500 willing to escape the rapidly spreading attacks on foreign African migrants in South Africa. On June 7 and 8, the second and third batch of about 340 Ghanaians respectively arrived in Accra to a warm welcome by government officials, just like the first batch, which arrived on May 27, 2026. This brings to a total of about 1,000 citizens escaping marauding youth in South Africa. The Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister, James Gyakye, says there is hope for the returnees.
The government is ready. You have all been registered. We are on database right now. It's up to you to pursue it. Because Yankupon cross or Boamo. And it's Sahwana Koyabia. Yamaboa boom there, Ufi South Africa bank to Beji. You have to make a move. And the authorities and some agencies, businesses are ready and willing to help. Because you don't want to what the skills and what the buy. You want to Yama P or Yadato to Aquima, Yabayamo, one health, obey a health screening, or shadow be an impom, our health issues will be an Abana ready there. Obashe, Niamo, free national health care are able to take care of yourself.
Yakubu Moro, one of the returnees, tells us about how he survived while there.
17 years, I was a student, and after graduating, I started working in the IT field. Personally, I never experienced it during the years that I've been there, due to some few lessons that I picked up myself. That is why. So most often we have to be security conscious. It's not everywhere in South Africa or foreign country that you have to reside. So I use that as my primary security precaution. Hence, by the grace of God, I hasn't been affected during these attacks.
Meanwhile, Leo Scalatos, CEO of AT, formerly Airtel Tigo, and a 100% government-owned company, says they are willing to absorb some of the skilled returnees into available job openings.
Well, we're giving everybody that comes a free SIM, free data, free a voice also. And we have a couple of jobs that are available, so we've been working with the ambassador to coordinate that as well. So we're happy to be able to do that. Hopefully next time we'll be able to support them even more. We know it's difficult, it's a difficult time. Off the record, we know they're very tired also, so we want to give them time to get hold of everything, get what they need here, go home, rest for a while, recuperate, and then we can talk again.
Martin Esiedu Date from the Accra International Airport for TV3 News.
Now, the Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, Sam Nate George, says the government of Ghana firmly remains committed to the principles of media freedom and freedom of expression. He made this declaration at the second Ghana Journalists Association's second World Press Freedom Day Honours Night, where the Group CEO of Media General, Beatrice Achiman, was among the outstanding industry leaders honoured.
The critical role of journalists in promoting transparency, accountability and democratic governance took center stage as the Ghana Journalists Association held its second World Press Freedom Day Honours Night. Addressing the gathering, the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Jumfo, noted that while Ghana has made significant gains in press freedom, sustaining democracy requires continued effort to protect journalists and create an enabling environment for independent media.
Ghana recorded a significant improvement in the 2026 World Press Freedom Index released by Reporters Without Borders. Our country moved from 52nd position globally to 39th position and now ranked 4th in Africa from 8th position.
The Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, Sam George, speaking at the event, reaffirmed government commitment to safeguarding media freedom.
His Excellency the President does not merely tolerate media scrutiny, he actually welcomes it. He understands that robust, fearless journalism is not an obstacle to development. It is actually an instrument of development. Just as freedom of the press was hard-won through centuries of sacrifice, digital freedom must be actively protected and deliberately promoted.
For his part, Minority Leader Alexander Penyomakin also underscored the importance of the rule of law in protecting journalists, stressing that media practitioners must be allowed to carry out their watchdog role without intimidation or interference.
The rule of law is not a tool of political convenience. I therefore, in all humility, call on the Attorney General to discharge the functions of that office in the spirit of Article 88 and 296 and together demand fairly, kindly and without prejudice. I call on the Director of Public Prosecutions to ensure that the decisions to prosecute in speech-related cases are subject to rigorous, independent review.
Among those honored was the Group CEO of Media General, Beatrice Achiman, who was honored with the Media Development Award for her contribution to media development and leadership within the industry. Other veteran media professionals, development partners and distinguished leaders whose contributions have helped advance press freedom and strengthen Ghana's democratic institutions were all celebrated.
And that's all for News Morning here on New Day on TV3. My name is Beatrice Edu. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Do continue with us on New Day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've been on this show for about 6 years.
Okay.
I remember the first and second years, I used to get very drained when it came to issues concerning flooding. But by the third year, I kept telling myself, I'm sure we're going to come back to this conversation the next year when the rain starts. And true to my word, we constantly came back to it. And it felt as if we weren't learning. We only talk about it when the rains are here, when the floods happen, when the buildings go down and there are fires everywhere. And then after the rainy season, everyone goes to sleep until the new year comes and we're encountering these problems again. And that's been the recurring situation over the last few years. And so it begs the question, what are we doing about the situation? What have we done over the years? We're always throwing money about saying we're spending this amount of money to dredge the Odo, to dredge this, that. And then the rains come and you realize not much had been done anyway.
Yeah.
So are we addressing the issues from the root, or are we just, doing surface, addresses and just ignoring the main issue? And that's the concern.
Well, it will certainly will be, and we don't seem to be having the penchant or the attitude to be addressing the root causes of issues. And the situation has been accentuated or compounded because the population has expanded.
Yeah.
Money has gotten into the pockets or the hands of more people, so people have become maybe richer or wealthier or better off. And so the natural way that God designed Accra, for Accra to be able to withstand the minimum or barest minimum of flooding, we have dissipated those natural means.
Yeah.
And over the years, particularly, there's this man who had worked with the hydrological department as well as with AESL, etc. And Engineer Wise had always said over the years that Ebri, Accra is sitting beneath Ebri.
Exactly.
And once we have decided to maybe destroy, I call it, we've decided to build residences just along the scarp of the Ebri Mountain. And it certainly means that there's no vegetative cover collecting water for it to drain slowly before it comes downstream to Accra. And so from Ebri, we have dissipated, we're even building along the ridge in itself. You come down with every vegetative cover, we've decided to dissipate it. We've put structures there. And then even the places that water always had vegetative cover to go through, like maybe you're coming from the lakeside area before you get to the motorway, etc. People have built residences. And we think that nature, we can cheat nature. You cannot cheat nature because once you block a waterway, the next time that the path cannot find itself by way of the flow of the flood or the rainwater, it will find another path.
Absolutely.
And so places that used not to flood are now getting flooded. Yeah. And don't think that once you block a waterway, you're safe. You're not safe.
It will find you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will come to you.
It's a difficult thing. Years ago, when I was working with the Jospon group, that's Sublion, the subsidiary is the one that used to dredge the Odo for some time. That's Dredge Masters. And Dr. Sian Japan, good morning to you. Went to bring in all these dredges, etc. But the thing is, we are only looking at the root causes. We're not looking at the root causes because we feel that if we dredge the Odo, then we open the space and the channel for it to go into the sea. But these days, the time that the water from the Ebri Mountains and then gets into the area that gets to the lower channel, that time has reduced.
Yeah.
It used to be like maybe 1 hour or 1.5 hours or 2. So by that time, you would have had somebody at the upper echelons of the channel to warn yourself that this is the options I need to take. But these days, by 30 minutes, 20 minutes, places are flooded.
Exactly.
And social media will put these on the internet, and it will be in your faces, and you get to panic, really. And so, we may break all the buildings, but we're not addressing the main causes why we're having these floods.
So I've listened to an engineer who says that breaking the buildings are not enough. In actual fact, we need to dig out the foundation because the water needs to go underground. And unfortunately, because there's a lot of cement, and hard stuff underground, even if you just break the top, you are still going to see flooding happening. And maybe, you know, the engineer should come out and explain that even further to us, because they have insisted that breaking alone is not enough. Now, beyond that as well, how many homes even have trees or have spaces that have vegetative cover as well? We build our homes, and then every aspect of our home...
We tile it nicely.
Yes, beautiful tiles. It's actually very beautiful.
And then we have small potted plants.
You know,
yeah.
But there's really no space for even grass. When you mention it, someone say, no, I don't have time for plants. I don't think I can take care of it. And so all of us are literally cementing the entire compound, leaving very little for the water to seep into the ground. And so it washes off the surface, and if you're not lucky, it will come into your room. And that's what's happening all across the city and beyond. In the space of 1 week, we've seen flooding in areas that we didn't even think would ever flood.
Yeah.
East Legon Hills. I mean, I don't even know why it's called hills. Is it actually a hill? Because
no, it's not
at this point, it's
even
flooding.
far off from East Legon.
Exactly.
Itself, yeah. So
I think I heard the real name of that place a while back. I've forgotten what it's called, but apparently the original name is not East Legon Hills.
Whether it's from Imaido to wherever.
Yeah, those areas, right? But you see those areas flooding, and you begin to ask questions. Spintex constantly. When it's raining, you're seeing areas getting flooded, and you're asking questions as well. What are we not doing right? And I feel as if our leaders just wait for the disasters to happen. They now come and tell us what they intend to do afterwards. There's really no way of addressing the issue before. The year started in January. I believe that between January and now, we should have identified some of these buildings that even had to go down. Why have they not been pulled down? We're now being told after structures have gone down that you have identified some 16 structures and you're going to pull them down. Did we have to wait till this point? Because we knew the rains were coming. Some of these structures are weak. And so the more water goes into it, the weaker it becomes, and it will come down. We're waiting for people to die before we even address some of these issues. We know that floods are coming. What are we doing about it? And we're selling the lands anyway, anyhow. The authorities who are supposed to ensure that we have the permits to build right, some of them are going to sleep. Or in fact, 90% of them, if I should say, have gone to sleep. And we'll wait for the issue to come and now come and address the media and address the public.
When you're going through East Legon, there are certain downward areas, lower end areas, that if you are rational, you will know that will flood.
Yeah.
And the fact that you build your building, and you know, those who are close to the politicians or the politicians or the businessmen who tend to have the money, etc., they tend to buy homes that look like squatter areas, and then they put up this huge mansion. They raise a foundation. In effect, what you're doing is that you will be safe when they're floods, but your neighbors will be affected. And we're doing this thinking that, well, once we do this, then it means that maybe we can find alternative means by preventing flooding. But it doesn't mean. Look, the reality is that the geographical position of Accra makes it more susceptible to flooding. Now, once we impair the natural topography and then we don't engineer the structures and the buildings well, it means that we're just compounding the problem. We're going to have more deaths recorded, and young people are going to be more desperate. We're going to have more people put it on social media. The politicians who are in public office are going to be blamed, and we who are the causes of the issues are never going to blame ourselves. Who goes to buy these structures? When a lease ends and it's not renewed and a family decides to maybe sell it to some other person, who can take that purchase? Who can buy it? It's only those who have the money. And let's say you go to East Legon Hills, the lands are sold or the assets are sold for exorbitant prices. Who cannot take it unless you have the money? And so it's the influential people in the society who are compounding the problem, and it's the vulnerable people in this Accra that we live in who are going to be the victims. And it's going to increase as the years go by.
Fair point, Papa Ro, but there are influential people all across the world. In the UK and in the US, I don't think that's, no matter your level of influence. They do, absolutely. What I'm saying is the laws still work. So even if you are the most influential person, I don't think that they're going to allow you to build on a waterway somewhere in the US or in the UK. Even if they allow you to, there's still going to be some planning to ensure that you don't cause flooding beyond a certain level. So yes, there are influential people here who may be able to get people in power to do things for them. But at the same time, do our laws even work? Because mind you, there are still non-influential people who are buying some of these lands, building, and still not getting the permits, but still going ahead to do it.
Fair point.
And so, really, I think everybody is to blame. Beyond that as well, even down to the lowest person, do we even understand the effects of not desilting our gutters, dropping our plastics, plastic waste,
especially when it rains?
Exactly.
There are many videos this time.
Every single person is to be blamed for this. We can't even take anybody out. You and I and everyone who's watching, one way or the other, have contributed to what we're facing now. But I think that the authorities need to be up and running. Because if the laws work, I don't think you and I can just get up and break the law and go scot-free. We can't. We see videos of people who wait for the rains to come down, and that's when they now toss their rubbish into the flood waters. What's been done to them? Absolutely nothing. So really, if we wait for the disaster to happen, we're now saying we're breaking down buildings, we're arresting this person or doing this, then...
Yeah, Bella, this one when I was coming, I said, Charlie, with a good day's TV top again, do Lamentations. Yeah, Lamentations
it's really
1-1.
Sad. It's really sad. And yesterday, unfortunately, we're told that one person, other people are reporting 2 people. They're yet to find the sachet water seller. I think as at last night, they indicated that they had ended the day's rescue efforts, and so they were going to continue this morning. We're praying that we can find that young woman. I don't even know if she's young or old, but they just said that she's a sachet water seller who was done with her day's activities and just went to lay under this building to get some rest. Unfortunately, the building came down. This is in Aveno in the North Industrial area. We're told that a building came down just close to Melcom Plus as well. And yesterday, one person was confirmed dead. 3 others have been rescued, we're told, and 1 more person is being, 2 people have been rescued, and 1 more person, is still under the rubbles. We're hoping that this morning they can retrieve her alive. I'm praying that she will be alive. I mean, miracles do happen, but it's really sad that this is happening as well. And the Interior Minister indicated that the building had some structural integrity issues, so it's not surprising that it came down. He even referenced the what's it called? The metal that's put in buildings, the iron rods, and how, they looked very weak. They did not fit the 4-story building that we saw come down.
And again, the bylaws allow for building inspectors in the various directorates of the assemblies to undertake inspection. So even after you're licensed or given the permit to go and build, of course, the assembly is not going to be there every hour of the day checking when and how you build, because they've done the approval processes already. What they can do is to come in intermittently and do inspection. But you know what all of us do? We quickly lay the courses quickly, so by the time whoever is checking the structural integrity of the building comes, you will find that you have reached a certain point in time when it comes to the courses of the building. And so those who are giving the permits, ordinary people like us, then we'll have to also take these as lessons. Because this one, everybody will think the building is okay, right? And it's been there for 5 years.
Roland, I'm sorry, but the moment I saw this structure, unless they didn't capture it well, but I don't think our cameramen are that bad. The building looks like it's falling.
No. It was a nice structure with a
Is it because the other side fell? That's why this looks crooked? Because I wasn't sure.
There's a before video of the building.
And it looks fine?
Very beautiful. I won't lie to you. Very beautiful. So.
But by the way,
but we'll be here again next year. I think the rains will be off by July, July, right?
September.
June, July.
We're even going to September. So let's just pray we don't have any more disasters. But there's a building that's standing next to the La Palme Hotel. And that one that never got completed. Been there for as long as I can remember.
I think 15 years.
15 years. I'm not sure what's happening. I hope we're not waiting for that building to come down as well, because at least the little I know about construction as well, the longer it stands without being completed, especially because it's also very close to the sea, the weaker it becomes. What's been done about that? Because a lot of cars ply that route. It's next to a very busy hotel as well. Now a lot of events are happening at La Palme. I'm not sure we want to hear that come down as well before we now cry foul and say, no, we should have done something about it. So if they say they've identified some 16 buildings that they intend to pull down within the city, I'm not saying that building is weak, but I hope that some checks have been done on that as well. If it has to come down, please let it come down as soon as possible. If it has to be strengthened or fixed, let's do something about it, because it's been sitting for a little too long. Something needs to be done. We'll be having this conversation on this morning's segment. But beyond that as well, there's some tension that's been brewing since last week at the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital after the CEO of the hospital gave an indication that, of course, when it comes to the accident ward, they should not take any more people. Now, a ward that had just about 34 beds had over 61 patients in there. And so, obviously, there was a lot of pressure on them, and he directed that they shouldn't take any more patients. He got summoned by the health minister to answer questions, and after that, he was given a 2-week suspension. And the doctors within that hospital indicated that if he's gone on suspension, then they're also going to withdraw all services.
Well,
so that's what's happening
but
now.
Bella, the truth is that matter has now escalated.
It has.
Countrywide.
Yeah.
And it's not only doctors. The nurses are also not happy.
The nurses are also, yeah.
Yeah. So we know that the Konfo Teaching Hospital medical doctors, that's the in-house practitioners or consultants, have made that decision.
Yeah.
But apparently, their colleagues across the country, including nurses are in solidarity with these doctors, and then the nurses at G.
Yeah.
That's how they call it in Kumasi. And we have to be realistic about our health system. Our health system is not the best. Yeah?
No, it's not.
So when we give directives, and we want also to make sure that there's enforcement, I think that when crisis happens, we should be in a position to drill down to get to know what the sentiments are, and then two, maybe how the situation occurred before we take a decision. I will not fault the health minister, because the health minister wants to be strong and then also make sure that, look, what needs to be done right. But once we're getting this feedback from the medical professional community, it also means that we're in trouble.
Yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And if they withdraw their services, it's difficult. More so if they withdraw the services at Konfo Teaching Hospital, which is the biggest region after Accra, and the opposition's also strongest hub. You know, go get yeah. I think yesterday I saw a video of the regional minister, Dr. Franka Monko, go in there and then say that some level of discussions have been had, and it looks like a truce somehow is being negotiated. But the thing is, once the suspension has come in, the other medical doctors feel we could be in a position where the next one could be us. And that's the problem. I think that the health minister, I don't have a problem with him. But I don't know when it started that you have to be a medical practitioner before you
become a minister?
The health minister. But if you look at what the reactions have been from, whether it's Dr. Richard Anane, and then also we had previously Dr. Victor Bampo, who currently is the National Health Insurance Authority, and then subsequently we've had Dr. Okuboy. They seem to receive their own better when that person is a medical professional or doctor. So maybe those who, the president should also be mindful. And I'm not talking only about John Dramani Mahama, the president. Other presidents should take a cue, because the professionals, especially those who practice, I think that they receive their own better.
Is it because they feel their own would understand their plight better? Because, I mean, the health minister currently served on the health committee in Parliament. He was the ranking member on the health committee in Parliament as well. And so he even justified that over the weekend, that he understands the issues. He's been there for years.
Exactly.
You know, so he understands the issues better.
I'm only raising a certain sentiment based on having talked to, we all have friends.
Yes.
And some of them are in, whether the Ghana Medical Association or having big positions in these top referral hospitals. And that's the sentiment. I think that when you're not a medical professional, they're very skeptical already, even before you're appointed or you start work. So you're already like minus 50. So you're operating on 50% level
negative
by way of their buy-in. And then they judge you from the 50%, other upwards, you have to inch it up or you reduce. And I think that as parties, everybody should be amenable to and receptive to those who are not medical professionals to help and then head them.
I think it's not
because it's a big problem not to.
I think it's not just the health ministry. I mean, education ministry as well. We've heard indications that if
they
you're
tend to
not
receive their own
necessarily
better
from that space, it's difficult to accept you. But for me, my concern is we have hospitals that have been sitting either uncompleted or completed to a large extent, not operationalized. and yet we're putting all the pressure on Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. Maybe indirectly, these health professionals are sending a signal to government officials that you cannot keep burdening us when the hospital's sitting fallow. There's nothing being done about it. It's time to operationalize them so that we take away the pressure from these hospitals. I mean, we do understand that they have sworn what they call the Hippocratic Oath.
The hypocritical.
Yes, exactly. But it doesn't mean that if I'm dying, I should still continue to kill myself just because I don't want to kill other people. I mean, sorry, I hope I'm not using the wrong words this morning. I'm being careful about what I'm saying. But you also have to take the burden off them to a large extent. What is happening to the Sewa Hospital? The chief in that community has been calling on government to operationalize the hospital. Nothing has been done. He called on government as of September last year because it was commissioned.
Afari.
Exactly. Afari Hospital is also there. We have a number of them. What's happening to them?
And then there are a couple of the Agenda 11 hospitals that could be operationalized.
Let's do that. Let's do that. So that, because, I mean, the Afari Hospital alone has 500 beds. That's enough to take away the pressure from, you know, Kath. What are we doing? And we're getting into this conversation now on This Morning. And so good morning, by the way. This morning we're heartbroken about a lot of things, and I'm sure you are as well. But we'll be having that conversation. Papa Ro, you're discussing
same issues for big issues. So we'll look at the floods, and then we'll touch base with the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, and then the Health Ministry, the brouhaha, and the fracas. How do we resolve it?
We'll come back to this conversation again.
Issues that have been happening. I spoke with the health minister, and on his direction, then to take steps to see how best we can have these issues resolved. So we came to meet with the union leaders to get their perspective and see how best we'll be able to resolve it. Thankfully, we've reached a resolution. However, they will make the communication themselves. So I'm sure that in the course of time, they'll do that communication. Once they do the communication, then we'll carry that from there. But I want to assure the public that Ashanti region is central when it comes to health delivery. But we carry the burden of both the northern, the middle, and the Ashanti itself. So if we have our only tertiary hospital breakdown in this manner, then most definitely it's going to affect us. So we're taking all the steps in making sure that these issues are de-escalated, most importantly. Because once it lingers on, there's the patient that suffer. So that we'll be able to have that. So I want to thank the health minister, the union leaders for their cooperation in this whole issue, and thank the RCC team for joining us in this resolution. So we'll communicate the resolution to the health minister. The union leaders will also come out. Then as soon as possible, we implement the issues thereof.
Forgive me. You're welcome back, and this is TV3 Newday. It's time now for the This Morning conversation. We're taking a look at two main issues: flooding, buildings tumbling down, and of course the issue concerning the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. And so I'm crossing over now to Roland as he gives us the details with regards to numbers.
But on the first one, which is the flood situation, we have some research statistics so far, and you find that, well, we had our first major recorded flood. We're talking about Accra, sorry. I mean, we're all Ghana, and we're broadcasting live across TV3 Ghana on social media as well. All of you can watch us. So the first major flood was recorded back in the Gold Coast, and that'll be in 1935. 1959, we also recorded, and we had some failure in Accra's drainage system at the time. And then the major one, which was a big disaster of living memory up to today, we haven't had any disaster surpassing that so far, was on June 3, 2015. It became a defining moment for measuring how disastrous flooding situation could happen, because apart from the flood that happened that day, fire ignited at a filling station at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle at the time, led to 150 plus deaths. And then the damage to businesses, etc., in excess of some $55 million. Since then, we've had separate incidents up to 2023. And so each year we'll be recording, and we've had 20 separate incidents up to 2023. By 2025, we then got to know that, look, it looks like the water table in Accra is just so porous, it just can't take enough. Now the question is, what do we do? Which areas have been measured and mapped to be more disaster prone? And there's a 3-layer outlet that has been undertaken by a geophysical study based on where we've gotten the source from. And this is satellite research and imagery. When it comes to the Accra metropolitan area, and mind you, this is the old Accra metropolitan area. Since then, we've had various sub-metros that have become metropolitan areas as well, municipal areas subsequently. About 71% of the entire Accra is susceptible to flooding. 71% of the landmass. So wherever you find yourself in Accra, which now extend to Adenta, etc., 71% of Accra is susceptible to flooding. When we have a flooding situation that measures around 130 milliliters. Now, subsequently also, if the rain should be by way of the tempo and then the pressure medium in range, then we have 40% of Accra being susceptible to flooding. Now, we have high flood risk zones. And if you look at the study, the risk zones already, irrespective of how heavy the rainfall is, we have about 35% of Accra's landmass already flood prone. Which areas usually are affected? 47 communities have been identified, and this time also affected as well. So from the period 1959, we've always had the Odo Alajo Agbogbloche area, and that's the Odo corridor, always getting flooded. And for those who are old enough, you find that we used to have Christian Methodist School, Krimeto, and they had to relocate because of excessive flooding. Then they have the Western Corridor, which is the Kaneshi Wager stretch, all right? And then we have the Nima Mamobi area. And then for those who live in Sakumono, you have the water coming from the East Legon Hills area, just to mention the current areas that we're used to. Then it crosses the motorway, get to the Ramsia site, community 1918, subsequently then it gets to Sakumono, and then affects Tema, etc. Then they have, of course, the Klagon areas, Ashaima, Lashibi, and all that, all of them also included. If you take the reasons why the flood keeps happening, when we now have more concrete surfaces. Bella and I were talking about it. All of us are loving the new architectural designs, especially when you go on TikTok and the builders are inviting you to come and seek their expertise. Then you know that the education is not there. So we all love the concrete surfaces. But the main problem is that we have choked drains. The drains are choked. We build the drains all right. They are not covered, yes, but they get choked. So once we don't desilt, it's a big problem. Then we have mass amounts of plastic waste also in the drains and along the various water bodies we have, and then also the communities that tend to have a lot of those drains. And then by engineering purposes, what has been identified based on our research is that the drains and culverts that we have are just not big enough. Well, the way they were engineered, the size are just small. And then natural habitat that has been left by God to be able to collect water, whether it's from the Ebri Mountains and the vegetative cover, the Ramsar site or wetlands that we had. And so you'll find them for many of the time through East Legon. We have some around Dansoman, the Tetegu, Weja areas there. All of them have been encroached upon. Then you come to the Sakumono, Ramsia site, etc. All of them have been encroached upon. So trouble there. Now, over the period, what has been recorded has been that we have over 8,000 plus illegal structures on waterways directly. And if you take a look at one plot size with a huge mass of buildings occupying waterways, you can imagine we have 8,400 plus of them. That's a serious issue. And so it makes it difficult for water to be retained when we have excessive amount of water from rains. Where did all the money we pumped into the projects go? Mind you, we've had total garage funding commitments, $350 million. And these are amounts spent already. So the question Bella and I were asking this morning, have we been treating the root causes? Have we been proactive looking at what causes these floods? And especially within the COVID period, there was all that was done. The audit did indicate that 65 million were not adequately accounted for. $65 million. There's also an audit finding that by 2024 May, what has been disbursed was just $8 million. So, Bella.
Interesting.
These figures are always frightening, but not more frightening than the floods when they happen.
How many illegal structures do we have?
Over 8,400. And we're talking structure. These days, the buildings are not small. They're huge. All concrete.
That's very disturbing. And we'll be going on the phone lines. We'll be speaking to some of our correspondents in some of these areas so we can better understand what the situation is like on the ground. We'll go to Aveno to find out if rescue efforts have resumed. And also, we will cross over to the Ashanti region. Last week, myself and Beatrice were on air when we spoke to Evans. And of course, we're trying to better understand what was happening in the Ashanti region with regards to the decision to halt any admissions in the accident and emergency unit. Subsequently, we've heard from the Minister of Health, who had summoned the CEO into a closed-door meeting to better understand what was happening. Eventually, he was given a 2-week suspension. And then, after that, we saw the ripple effects of it. From the doctors at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital declaring a strike until that suspension is reversed, to the nurses across the country also indicating that they were also laying down their tools until that suspension was reversed, and demanding that some hospitals within the Ashanti region that are yet to be completed and operationalized be operationalized. So we'll speak to William Evans Inkum. He's the head of the Northern Bureau, and he'll give us further details because, as said last night, we heard from the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Mwakohene, who said that there was some closed-door meeting with the doctors in the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. They had come to a conclusion, and of course, at the right time, the doctors will alert us. So let's speak to William Evans Inkum now. Hello, William. William, good morning. Please unmute yourself.
Well, okay.
Yes, we can hear you now. Good morning. How are you doing?
Okay. Good morning, Bella. I'm doing well. Yourself?
Good, very well, thank you. Now, what's the current situation with regards to that meeting that was had between the Ashanti Regional Minister and the doctors at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital? We're told they're supposed to apprise us this morning on a decision that has been made. Do you, by any chance, have an idea what this would entail?
Well, so current situation here at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital remains unchanged since Saturday when the industrial action was in full swing. Remember, I came here at the pre-triage and the triage units. It almost looked like a deserted place, even though on a normal day, it is one place that you see lots of traffic. That is some emergency cases coming in. And of course, when they come in, they pass through the pre-triage and the triage areas where assessment is done. And then it is determined as to whether that particular patient should be placed in the orange, yellow, or the red wards. But this place this morning looks quite deserted, and it tells you that indeed the strike action is still ongoing. In fact, I've also visited some other OPDs. Well, I've seen a number of patients there, some who are coming for a review, others who are also reporting for the very first time and all of that. I mean, from other parts of the northern sector, remember that I told you that currently Kompanoche is serving about 10 regions within the northern sector, I mean, it's the main referral port of call. So there are patients who are also coming from far and near, but they are yet to see a doctor. Well, we were given some level of assurance by the regional minister, who is the head of the Regional Security Council, that he has engaged the doctors. And mind you, the regional minister himself is a medical doctor.
Yeah.
So he has engaged his colleagues, and that they've reached a certain level of agreement, and he's hoping that today they will come out with an official release telling the public that the strike has been suspended. We are still waiting to hear from the leadership of the Kompanoche Teaching Hospital or Doctors Association, leadership of the Kompanoche Doctors Association, as to whether they agreed with the minister to put the suspension or to put the strike on hold. But as at this morning, or as of the time of the last meeting with the minister, there hasn't been any official communique from the doctor's front. So we are still waiting. But,
all right. But even so, have you spotted any nurses at the emergency unit or at the hospital at all, or are they also on strike?
Well, no, the nurses, the nurses and midwives, as they threatened, they haven't joined the industrial action yet. Like I said, at the pre-triage and the triage units, I've seen a handful of them still there. Let me also put on record that even on Saturday, when the whole action was triggered, I witnessed an emergency case from Ajuso brought in by 2 policemen. I think the victims were involved in an accident. Those cases were attended to. So even in the midst of all these compass, critical cases are being attended to. So you say, well, yes, indeed, there's some level of action, but its impact, especially on critical cases, I mean, it's very minimal.
I see. Well, I asked that specifically because based on the statement that was released by the Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, the CATH unit, they had indicated that as at yesterday, 8 a.m., if that suspension by the health minister was not reversed, they were going to join the strike action. And so that's why I was asking, and they indicated, let me just read that. They said, we wish to state categorically that effective 8 a.m. 7 June 2026, nurses and midwives at CATH will join the strike if the directive from the Honorable Minister of Health is not reversed. You are saying that even after this statement, you spotted some nurses or the nurses working regardless.
Well, absolutely.
Okay.
Maybe the engagement with the leadership of the Kompanoche Doctors Association provides some level of hope or a dint of hope that maybe there's going to be our full health will prevail. Well, that is my assumption. The reason why they haven't joined the industrial action yet. But I can confirm to you that they are at post and they are going about their normal medical duties.
How are patients reacting to this strike by the doctors?
Well, they are worried. But I mean, you would want to put yourself in the shoes of somebody who is coming from maybe any of the northern part of the country. Having, I mean, journeyed several kilometers, let's say even from the Savannah region, down to Kompanoche Teaching Hospital, only to be told that your case cannot be attended to because of the situation on the ground. Or an accident that just happened and people battling for their lives. Well, it's been graded though that those with critical cases will be attended to. But what if at the emergency or even at the triage department, only a handful of doctors are available? And on a normal day, I have been told that on a normal day at the emergency center, which see critical cases, not over or not up to, let's say, approximately 15 doctors operate, one consultant, a specialist, and a team of doctors. So if they are overwhelmed by cases that are brought in, even if they are critical, because of the current situation, and not all of them are even turning up, and they are overwhelmed by a number of cases that are brought in. I mean, I'm sure you can picture how the whole thing is going to look like. I mean, very chaotic.
Yeah.
And that is the situation here. Even though since Saturday, I have not witnessed that, but I'm just imagining, because on a peak day or on peak days, these things are very, very common as far as the accident and emergency center here is concerned. Of course, even if you go to the other OPDs.
Quickly, what are the sentiments of residents within the Ashanti region with regards to the non-operationalization of the Sewa Hospital, for example, non-completion of the Afari Military Hospital? I know we started this conversation last week. We didn't have the time to get into it, but generally, how are people reacting to, the lack of options when it comes to health in the Ashanti region?
Worried because every single promise has just been reduced to political rhetoric and the Afari. I mean, last week we sampled some views and we played, so it is not as if it is coming from me alone, but the fact that we've been able to gauge the public sentiment, and the evidence is there that they are not happy about. And even on Akuma FM, when they call into the show and also express their sentiment, Afari Military Hospital and that of Sewia Regional Hospital have dominated discussions as to government, and not only just particular administration, but government after government, their commitment to the completion of these two major facilities. Because Afari is capable of serving several parts of the northern sector. For instance, Afari is situated at Afari, and the next region is the Western North region. Just after the Western North region, you also have the Ahafo region. Then, of course, Bono East, and even part of the Northern region. And if a case is coming from Bono East region, from Bono East, if it is coming from Techima, then we say Kompanoche is the closest. But if it is coming from places like Kintampo and other areas, I mean, the person can just navigate through Chla, Sunyane, Ahafo. Then you enter, Afari, okay, or the Ashanti region. That particular corridor is very close. So if Afari is operational, I mean, you understand, the number of people who would benefit without necessarily journeying for long hours to, Kompanoche to seek advanced medical health care. If you are looking at Sewia Regional Hospital, it is also a strategic place that can also take care of, millions of people who will be seeking medical attention. So the public, as a matter of fact, want these facilities to be completed. And of course, yesterday, we had some assurances from the regional minister that they are retooling these hospitals, and for Sewia, specifically for Sewia and...
All right. Well, unfortunately, we seem to have lost William Evans Inkum, who was updating us on the Sewia Hospital, for example. But we hope to cross over again and get more details. In fact, the Ministry of Health also released a statement, and they're saying that they find the turn of events at Kompanoche Teaching Hospital unfortunate. And they say that this decision to suspend the CEO of CATH, who's an appointee of His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama, was carefully considered and taken in the interest of institutional accountability, patient safety, and the need to uphold administrative discipline within the health sector. And so they say that the decision, it's important to place on record that the suspension arose from the public announcement of cessation of admission into the accident and emergency unit, which is inconsistent with the directive of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana. And it's quite a long statement. I'm sure that Roland will get into that further during the big issue. But quickly, TV3, in partnership with the German Embassy in Accra, invites you to Climate Talks 2026 in Tamale under the theme Building Climate Security Resilience in Ghana. Join the conversation on climate-induced conflicts and community resilience in northern Ghana, featuring the German ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Frederick Landshoff. Watch live from the Pioneer Guest Lodge, Tamale, on June 10 at 10 a.m. on TV3 and all our digital platforms. Be part of the conversation shaping Ghana's climate future. Pavaro, do you have any more?
Well, we just have messages, etc., but we have to go for a break. And so I'll just read a couple. This one from a structural engineer and environmentalist who says that the change in land use is one major cause of the floods. Every square inch of land is being covered with concrete. Again, most of these drains being constructed do not have any outflow. And that's coming from Emmanuel Soso. And then we have a couple more as well coming through. So I'll just read. Lawyer Kakri Samoa, good morning to you, says that, says that he's watching us. Could you please get your technical people to cut out your take on the Accra flooding situation, which you just presented with all the diagrams and okay, sorry. All right, so, and then Ijabwatin says that the situation in Ghana, it's a big one, and we need to make sure that we respect each other's space. The health professionals have a right to also indicate what their position is. In all, I think the health minister is right. If they have any difficulty, what they need to undertake is to dialogue with him, not to create a public scene, even though they are an essential part of our healthcare system and are well respected. And then MK Erickson says that, so that
well, I guess you can continue those messages
later.
on the big issue. And that follows shortly. But perk up your day, the Milky Way with a rich, smooth taste of Perk Milk Shortcake. It is pure delight. We'll be back with the big issues.
truce has been negotiated following that comment from the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amoako-Henning. Let me just introduce our guest for this morning. I have Friday. Kofi Tonto is just in front of. Good morning, Kofi Tonto. How are you? And then, of course, the Member of Parliament for Ketu North is right here, Edem Agbana. And Edem, how are you? Great. And I saw that you wrote a scathing comment when it comes to your colleagues in public office who had been awarded at the Ministers and CEO Awards over the weekend, for which a lot of people seem to be supporting you. I don't know what makes it.
Do you want me to make a comment?
Maybe subsequent. And how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing
great. Anyway, so we'll just quickly take you through, and then we'll also take a look at. We will again, if we have a Felicity Ahiafianyo with the Ghana Meteorological Agency, whoever is ready for us, we will have them ask some few questions about how long we should expect the rains, the intensity this time around that has been recorded, for which we're already getting the scenes, and the question about whether we're ready. Adam, it looks like every time we're caught unawares, and it's something that has been with us. Bella and I was just discussing it this morning.
Yeah, Roland, let me say good morning to you and to my brothers here with me this morning, and also to all our cherished viewers across the world, especially to the good people of Ketu North, a constituency that I have the privilege of representing in the 9th Parliament. Roland, when you shared, or your production team shared a flyer inviting us for this morning's discussion, and I saw the issue of flood, I kept asking myself that how many times and how long will we continue having conversation about the same problem, a challenge that has been with us since the 1960s. Roland, last week I saw a newspaper publication about flooding in Accra in the 1960s. And from the 60s to today, every single season, we have this challenge of dealing with floods. According to news reports, since 1968, we have lost over 600 Ghanaians to flood, and about $3.2 billion have been lost in terms of properties that have been destroyed and all of that. And on the average, 45,000 Ghanaians are confronted with the challenge of flooding every year. And so, because this has been repetitive, it cannot be described as just a disaster. We must call it what it is. It is actually an issue of policy failure, and successive governments since the 1960s till now, we do not seem to have a hand on how to decisively deal with this issue of flood. And it is sad because I watched some of the videos. There was a particular video that got me teary last night. An old woman being carried from the car, into a truck. I don't know if you saw that video. There was a small saloon car, and then an elderly woman was being carried from the window into a truck that was parked and all that. And when you watch some of these things, it is really heartbreaking. Yeah. And we must accept that we have a challenge. Well, and there are a number of issues that are contributing to this issue of flood. Every year, we issue weather warnings. Every year, we tell people that the rains are coming, prepare, and what have you. But the real issue is the fact that we have failed in enforcement, because it is not an issue of legislation at all. And it's not an issue of not having enough public institutions to deal with the challenge. When you go to each assembly, and the last time we were here talking about the collapsed buildings, I mentioned it that every time, because the political leadership is always the one that is easy to hang, so we leave out the technocrats, civil servants, who some of them are failing their job. They are failing on the job. Because every single assembly, Roland, they have technical people, they have engineers,
they have development planners and what have you. These people are expected to use their technical knowledge, their expertise, to advise the politicians in planning and also in granting approvals. Every single year, permits are being given for people to build in waterways. And so when you see these buildings in waterways, the question is, who authorized the buildings? Even in instances where you see that the assemblies have written or issued a notice, stop building, this is waterways. Sometimes you go and people are still on site working. And there are many of such buildings because people believe that they can, yes, and people believe that they can do these things and get away with it. And Roland, as a people, let me say that all of us must also admit that even as citizens, we have also failed. And we are also failing the country because recently, when the Greater Accra Regional Minister decided to lead the demolition of buildings on Ramsar sites, what was the public commentary about it?
How do you mean?
Yes, people started saying, we voted for you not to come and demolish our buildings and what have you. So the political will, she was courageous enough to say, I'm demolishing these buildings. And because she could tell that the continuous, existence of those buildings was harmful to the environment.
Yeah.
But
they actually blocked the waterways.
They blocked the waterways. But you see, how was the demolition received? How was it received? It was politicized. Members of NPP said, you see, this is a party, we told you not to vote for them, you voted for them, they are demolishing your building. Members of NDC, including in one of the sites, I saw a video of a man who said he had funded the party. And so his expectation was that because he had funded the party or he had contributed financially to the NDC's victory, the building should remain in waterway. So it doesn't even matter what to have. So it means that across board, we have an issue, we have a challenge to deal with. I am happy, Roland, that this morning I can say on your network that since last year, President Mahama inaugurated a committee to look at the issue of flooding. And they have been working assiduously. One of the things that they have done, and I'm informed that some of the recent demolitions that happened even before the rainfall started or the heavy rains started, some of those demolitions were advised by the committee. What it means is that it could have been worse than we are experiencing now, but for the work of that committee. And I pray that they continue to work out. When you speak to the likes of the former mayor of Accra, the Honorable Vanderpoy, Alfred Oko Vanderpoy, look, for a long time, one of the mayors that really carried the bulls by the horn. And recall, there were times he even had internal clashes with his own political party because he insisted that the right things must be done. But the sustainability afterwards, some of the places that Oko Vanderpoy led demolitions, new buildings sprang up after he left office. And so these are issues that we need to confront in all sincerity and honesty and accept that from 1968 to 2026, we cannot continuously be discussing this issue without preferring solutions to it. Roland, I am told, I'm not an expert, that even around East Legon and some of these high-end vicinities or communities in Ghana, many people, including some of the rich and powerful, have also built on waterways. Look at what is happening at Santor, East Legon Hills area. Few minutes of rain, bridges got
15 minutes, 20 minutes.
And it is sad. It is sad. In fact, yesterday, on my way from the constituency, trying to access my house through the school junction area, the entire place was flooded. And if you look at the number of high-rise buildings on that stretch, when you take school junction and you want to access, you want to go towards Ogbojo, there is this shortcut there. New high-rising buildings, lots of new apartments and all of that towards the Philippos area. The whole place got flooded yesterday. So the question is, who is granting the permit to the people to build on the waterways? Who is assessing to ensure that these buildings that are coming up will not pose a threat to other communities? Collectively, we must admit that we have failed on some of these things. But I will encourage the leadership to aggressively and decisively deal with this issue, so that next year, Roland, we will not sit here and keep discussing these issues. Buildings that must be demolished, they must go ahead and demolish it, regardless of the political repercussions. And it is a position that we must all take. The other issue is the issue of our drains. The drainage system, we need a complete overhaul, some audit of a sort, because, Roland, some of the drains that we have, the drainage infrastructure in Accra was built when the city had less numbers in terms of population. And so there are some places you see that, yes, they have the gutters, apart from the fact that in some areas the gutters are choked with polythene and waste and what have you. Even places where the gutters are not choked, some of them, the gutters are quite smaller. And so a little rain and the gutter is not able to absorb all that comes in. And so we need to look at it and see what we can do to do some re-engineering of the city of a sort. Roland, having said that, I believe that the issue is not even about flooding. The issue is basically about planning and ensuring that we enforce the laws that we have. Our leadership, the mayors, the MCs, the DCs, must be able to deal with these issues without thinking about the political repercussions, because you have been entrusted with the mandate. And so let us not always think that flooding can be accepted as a norm, that it happens every year, where the water will dry out soon. And so then we'll get back to business as usual. Buildings will continue springing up in waterways and what have you. Let us deal with the issues so that next year and the years after, when it rains, it will not pose a challenge to us. It is sad that a country that we are struggling to have irrigation systems, a lot of water is rather destroying, when proper channels can be put in place to harvest this water and push into agriculture, into mechanization, so that we increase production, so you do not have to go to depend on Burkina Faso to get tomatoes and what have you. It is all about planning and re-engineering our city. And I believe that the work of the committee, the anti-flooding committee, should lead to some of these radical reforms, Roland, so that we will see the progress that is expected of us.
And Kofi, we're here because, well, we haven't obeyed the regulations. It's also a lack of enforcement and wholesomely an engineering problem.
Roland, are you sure it's an engineering problem?
It's a combo. It cannot be only
No,
one.
actually, the president disagrees with you.
Okay.
Because the president is on record, on video. I have the video saying that our floods issue is not an engineering problem. It's an indiscipline problem. Even though the president contradicts himself, because as far back as May 24th, 2024, the president at that time said, Akufo-Addo has failed because he hasn't planned enough, because the issue is an engineering problem. He said that when he was in opposition. But when he came into power as president, then the president changed his position that the flooding is not an engineering problem, but it is an indiscipline problem. So the president disagrees with you and disagrees with my brother. So we haven't even been able to propose or identify what the problem is, because even the president of the republic is not sure what the problem is and what the cause, I mean. And if we are unable to identify the true cause, how then do we fix a problem? Perhaps that is where we have to go to, identify the true cause of the reason why we are having flooding in the country. But what I agree with Adam on is this. This perennial, and it's called perennial because it's been with us for so long. In fact, I saw a story in one of the graphics. I don't know if it's daily graphics or so, but it was the
old story, the 60s story.
1960
daily
story,
graphic.
daily graphic, talking about flooding. So really, the problem has been with us. So I also agree with Adam that successive governments have not been able to solve the issue. But then it beckons. You know, President Mahama was a president from 2012, finishing the term of President Mills of blessed memory. Then he became a president on his own for 4 years. And we suffered one of the most disastrous flooding in our history, which was June 3rd or June 4th? June 3rd. At Circle, where people died, because of fire, etc. So if anybody in modern history has the benefit of knowledge as to what is really the cause and what should really be the solution, it's President Mahama. Because he experienced the most disastrous, the worst of his form. So one would have thought that when President Mahama went into opposition, he would have been part of the solution. He would have been that statesman who is driving the energy for us to have the solution. But no, he didn't. Even after experiencing the worst disaster in our history, in opposition, he criticized Akufo-Addo and called Akufo-Addo incompetent for his inability to solve the problem. So once again, one would have thought that once coming into power, because in fact, if you read the statement from May 24th, 2024, he did say that NDC, when given power, will solve the problem. They will marshal all the arsenals necessary to solve the problem. So when he came into power, he did form a task force with Standogwe as the flood czar. That let's go ahead. Of course, he was the leader. Let's go ahead and fix this issue. But Roland, tell me, within the last a year and 6 months or so, have you seen any concrete strategy on indiscipline? As the president puts it, that indiscipline is the cause. Have you seen anything? If you have, you can tell me. Have you seen strategies planned even before the rain season began? Did you see any form of education, any form of effort to mitigate the flood? None. None. Because you are one of the biggest TV stations in this republic. If there were, I'm sure you would have done announcements and interviews, etc., the preparation towards the rain season. So it begs the question, what is that task force doing?
Which task force?
The Standogwe task force. What are they doing? The czar. The czar, yeah, Standogwe is the czar. In fact, as I speak to you, Standogwe, who is the czar of flood in Ghana, has not issued a single statement. Not one. But he had the opportunity to talk about pornography yesterday on his Facebook wall. He was responding to Sam George's effort to sort of...
Respectfully, yeah.
No, but what is disrespectful about that?
No, respectfully. He's not here to respond to some of these things. So
no, I'm saying that he...
What are you driving at?
What I'm driving at, he has...
Let's not use the opportunity to attack his person.
What do you mean by that? No, when you say respectfully, what do you mean by that?
Don't use the opportunity to attack his person so that...
I have not attacked... I have not attacked his person. Mm-hmm. He has a responsibility. And I'm talking about what he chose as a priority. He discussed Sam George's proposal to sort of manage...
He made a post.
Yeah, he made a post on Facebook. You are saying
that he should have made a post about the floods, rather?
He should have, of course. Number one, I'm saying several things. Number one, I am saying that prior to the flood season, he should have been seen out there engaging Ghanaians, putting up plans, providing education, and more. And say that, look, the floods are coming. These are the steps we have taken. These are the responsibilities of the citizenry to support our efforts. I didn't see it. Did you see anything like that? No. Two, I am saying that once the floods came, we are supposed to see the activities of the flood czar and his task force. I haven't seen anything. If you have, tell me. Number three, I am saying that if he is going to make a public statement in this current season, that public statement should be about his responsibility, not on other subjects. That is the point I'm talking about. It's about priority. And time in and again, we see that this government fails on priority. Because, and aside from failing on priority, they are highly insensitive. And I'll give you an example. The Greater Accra Regional Minister.
The Greater Accra Regional Minister.
The Greater Accra Regional Minister. Of course, I will be dishonest to say that I haven't seen her making some efforts. But the point is, at the time your city is under siege, you don't go and take an award. That is the height of insensitivity. Your city is under siege. And it is alleged.
What are you saying? That she was not reading the mood?
She was not reading the room. And that's the same thing I was saying about Standogbe, that he was also not reading the room. My point is, at the time where Ghanaians are in such a situation, ministers, government appointees must take cognizance of that fact and read the room. A minister does not go and take an award, even if she deserves it at a time of disaster. And Pesah White has alleged that it was paid for. No. You see, yes.
You are talking about flooding.
No, I am talking about flooding.
Paul was taking hours when the lights were going off.
You see, let's hold on.
So don't make it.
Let's not make the award to the subject. It's not part of our topics this morning.
You see,
if people want to
at the time we had electricity crisis, Napo was also taking the same award.
Hold on. You see,
let's not make it.
You see, here's the problem, Adam.
Allow you to make a comment.
Here's the problem.
Okay, no problem.
You said Akufo-Addo and his government was a failure, and that you are going to reset this country, meaning that all the bad things we did, assuming without admitting that we did, your job is to be different. It's not to repeat, and then when we are queried, you tell us that you also did it. That is not why Ghanaians voted for you.
I don't understand.
What I'm saying is that Ghanaians voted for the NDC to reset the ills of Akufo-Addo. So you don't come and repeat those ills that you promised to reset. And then when you are queried, you reference Ghanaians to the past. Of course, they knew the past. That's why they voted for you.
For resets.
For a reset. So how do you repeat the very things you criticized? That's the point. Essentially, the reason why I brought in the awards, I preempted my comment, but I guess you didn't pay attention. I said the height of insensitivity, that in the midst of crisis, you don't take an award. In the midst of crisis, you focus on your core responsibility. And that's why I also cited Standogbe. That is my point. So the whole thing is that I agree that we all have a responsibility from the government to citizenry, but we must, as a society, be honest about solutions. A former president does not take one position in opposition, and then once in government takes another position. You can't solve issues like that. 2, I believe the president, as a matter of urgency, should address the nation on his plans for flooding. He has a task force. What have they been doing in a year and a half? They should have a plan now. They should have strategies now. That must.
But they're pulling down of buildings because the minister is part of the committee.
Pulling down of buildings.
Yeah. Okay. No, so the minister is part of the committee.
Okay.
Right. So the pulling down of buildings, but you are seeing that it hasn't been communicated. Is that not what you're saying?
No, of course, pulling down of buildings, we've seen it on TV. I am saying that what strategies have they put in place? Have they?
You want the strategy to be communicated.
But how do I, as a citizen, participate in that strategy or help them succeed if I don't know what they are doing? How do you participate? How will a lawyer participate? How do I know my role? So you have to put it out. And I'm saying that even before the flood season, there must have been some education. We should have seen some efforts being made to ensure we mitigate. Of course, we can't end flooding in a year or 2 years or 3 years. It's going to take some time. But at least we must, months prior, see efforts. We didn't see any of that. And that's why I asked you, did you have any of such exercise on your TV station here? You can tell me. So that is the point that I'm making. Look, I am willing as a citizen to play my role. I want to see the president and his task force play their role. I want to see a government that's sensitive to the plight of Ghanaians. in the midst of chaos, I want to see my leaders sort of aligning all of us and carrying all of us along so that we can once at least have a strategy and work towards making sure we can end this perennial issue. Yeah.
Now, we have to get back to the basis. He says that we need a strategy. We've had strategy all along. I mean, that's why World Bank monies are spent on dredging and all that, you know. And it's been something that we've always done. But it looks like we need to get back to the basis, try to do a proper reevaluation of what the situation is. Because it doesn't look like we don't have the plans and the professionals, and we don't know why these keep happening.
Yeah, so
shouldn't that be the root cause of the matter?
So let me wish you a good morning. I must say that you are looking really good this morning in the midst of all the disasters happening. Wish my brother Adam a good morning. Wish my brother Tonto a good morning. I think today I thought Adam had set the tone for a discussion that was going to be more nationalistic in nature as against partisanship, but my brother Tonto is on fire. I think the desire to bring partisanship here is a huge pull that he cannot avoid. And so, having said that, I think as much as I want to be nationalistic, I'll also be a bit partisan here. Because if you're going to be partisan, then the right stories ought to be told. You see, last year around this same time,
same conversation.
I came to this station.
And then the year before.
And I said, listen, every June, May, I'm not a prophet, but I can predict that we'll come here, cameras will be, and then we'll come and discuss flooding. Every year. You understand? And for me, I think because of the nature of this, all of us as Ghanaians, politicians, leadership, must bow our heads down in shame. I think we failed Ghana. We failed Ghana, especially in terms of Article 13 of our Constitution. That guarantees us a right to life. And a modern interpretation of that means that that right to life does not only mean that thou shalt not be killed. That right to life means that government has an obligation to behave in a manner that will protect our lives. Government has an obligation to behave in a manner that will give us a life that has dignity. You understand? And I think collectively we are failed. Now, what is it true that the reason why we have flooding all the time around May, June, sometimes in September, October is because of engineering failure or lack of engineering failure? Or is it the case that is because of lack of proper planning? Or is it the case that is part of or is a symptom of fundamental lack of discipline on the part of citizens? My personal view is that it's a combination of all these. Because I recall that in 1996, when I was in secondary school, SS2, I recall that there was a massive flooding in Alaju. I think that day I was coming home from midterm, 96 or 97, and it was a miracle crossing Alaju. That day I thought that I was not going to make it. Alaju was a huge.
You nearly died.
I thought we were not going to make it.
Which year was that?
I think 96 and 97.
Sure.
And I recall 1997 because
that was a major.
Because on that day, one of the major news items was on listening to radio was about Michael Jordan having led the Chicago Bulls to win the NBA final. Yeah. And Alaju was a huge flooding spot. Now, one of the fundamental achievements of President Kofo's government was in the construction of the storm drain there. That has solved the Alaju flooding crisis.
The one from the former Ghana Telecom area, all the way going to Odo.
And so in the midst of all this flooding, you never hear or you never see flooding at Alaju now. Whereas when we were growing up, it was one of the flashpoints in flooding in this country. And so certainly, we cannot say that it is not an engineering issue. It is a fundamental lack of infrastructure in the city that can deal with some of these floods. Now, also, I had an unfortunate incident of having been caught up in traffic on the 3rd of June 2015. I left my office around 6 p.m. I go home at 3 a.m. on that day. I go home at 3 a.m. and places, even on the N1, they were flooding. And strangely, 3rd June 2026, I go home around 1:30. Also because of crazy flooding. In fact, on Friday, I went to my children's school with my wife, and I predicted that should there be just 20 minutes of rain because of the high levels of the water in the
ponds you were seeing.
Even in the drains, I could predict that
as you were driving along,
that just 30 minutes of rainfall will bring serious flooding. And then immediately I remembered that in 2019, as part of efforts to deal with flooding, government allocated 197 million to the Ezwal Minister for Works and Housing, Cicely Adapa, to deal with the silting of gutters.
What's your point with this? We've always allocated money for many of
197. Beyond that, remember that there was a program also called
Garrett
that allocated $42.2 million.
It's been a source of an audit inquiry, yes.
No. Then government must take this audit really serious.
What's your
because
point
for the amount of monies that have been spent to deal with this issue, particularly in the last regime, $42.2 million, 197 million Ghana cedis, $42 million, and you see the disasters. Because you see, in 2019, I think after a major flooding around April, 10 people passed. Quickly, we allocated 197 million Ghana cedis to the Ministry of Works and Housing under Cicely Adapa. So why are we still having this issue? Why are we having flooding? We spent 42.2 million, also give to the same Cicely Adapa. You recall when Nanado met some, what's called, as in the Odona design, they were telling the whole Ghana about all the nice.
With engineer Wise and the rest.
So was it a 419? Was it a scam? You see, the doing something to represent something in our politics is too much. And that's why I was hoping that today we will have a nationalistic discussion. Because if you make it partisan, tonto, then the previous regime can't find a place to hide. If we are going to make this,
Tonto only made an allusion to what the opposition leader then, who is now the president, said.
No, but so Shrago and Brinko and also said in 2015, and that's why I'm saying that. You see, we ought to move forward. And to move forward, then we need to recognize that we have a real problem in our hands. One, that two, everything that's happening with this flooding in Accra constitutes a collective failure of all of us as Ghanaians. You understand? And so we need to draw a line and then push together. Because you see, Tonto rightly said that the president, some people are saying that it is an engineering problem, some people are saying that it is a problem of indiscipline. Whichever way you look at it, whether be it engineering, be it a matter of indiscipline, and the onus falls on government. I'm saying that from 1957 till now, particularly taking into consideration the impact of President Kofo's what's called storm drain, the impact he had in solving the biggest flashpoint of flooding in Accra, Alajo, confirms that, listen, this is an engineering issue, and also a lack of, and when you consider the lack of discipline, it's also a lack of leadership, because you all agree that there's a reason why we create government and give government power to enforce the law, to simply enforce the law, and so that if this issue is one of also an indisciplined one, then government has failed. And you see, it can't just be one government, it's all governments. So for me, with everything we are seeing, let's draw a line. Yes, let's draw a line and move forward. And to move forward, all Ghanaians, governments, political parties, all of us need to renew our commitment to proper governance. You see, we have building codes, we have laws. You understand? If we are to implement Article 13, then the onus will be on government to also enforce these building codes. Beyond strategically dealing with the increasing of infrastructure, the drainage infrastructure to deal with these storms in Accra, government must also enforce the law. They must because see, beyond the floods, on Friday, I think on Wednesday, did you hear about the Adenta building collapse? And The building collapsed in Adenta. I recall the last time I met them here. That was
Newtown, Mamubi area.
But on Wednesday, a building collapsed in Adenta. Then yesterday, another building collapsed at Aveno. So what was the issue? Is it that building codes were not followed? And it's a case that the local assemblies simply failed to enforce the law. Because, you see, we talk about the U.S. and talk about that. I think Tonto will have better experience at those places. The strength of the U.S. is in the strength of their local governments. The strength of their...
Tonto said there are no floods in the U.S.
I'm saying that... No,
I've not said that.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying that...
No, there are floods
everywhere. There are floods
Houston,
everywhere.
They have floods.
But in terms of, I'm saying that, so please don't bring into this. What I'm saying, Tonto will understand this better than all of us.
Yeah.
Because in America is America because of the strength of their local
government. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Their public service or civil service structure is very strong.
Yeah,
it has its challenges, but the resolve really lies in the local government's ability to raise funds.
Yeah.
And to prioritize their own projects.
Yes, and also enforce the codes.
Of course.
Enforce building codes. And in Ghana, everything goes.
Is it true that in the US you can't just get up and even remodel your house?
You see, it's true.
No, you can't.
Even within the house, you cannot change anything within the house.
Unless you go to the county.
You go back. Because the reason is, if there is a disaster, they need to know the architectural structure of the house to be able to make sure they provide whatever. So they
the way you know it, do you think that those who occupy public office, MPP and DC, they know? They know that that's what
but they travel abroad for education.
No, in fact, in a building codes, they know. Because in a building codes, even in Ghana, per the codes, you can't have a situation where your entire house is cemented or concreted. Yeah. In terms of, I think about 60% ought to be green.
Because it absorbs the water.
This basic rule, let's go around and just do a simple audit. Are they enforced? So you see, for me, I think government needs to radically find a way of investing in infrastructure within the city that will deal with the storm. And I say that the case in Alajo enforces this point. 2, we need to find a way of strengthening our local government. Yeah, you understand? We need to find a way of strengthening our local government, because real governance happens at that level. They are the ones that issue permits. You understand? They are the ones that ensure that the building codes are enforced. They are responsible for sanitation within the locality. In fact, when you go to every local assembly, they have the hydraulics. They deal with the storm drains and all those things. They have the fiscal planners. You understand? Now, the question is, are they working? Or have we created a system where we allow them to work? Because you see, they must allow to work. Otherwise, we can't deal with these flooding issues. And thirdly, we must have accountability at every level. Accountability at how the local governance work. But also, we need to have proper accountability about how, for instance, the 197 million desalting program was released in 2019. As in how effective was that fund? Was it used? If it was not used and once again, it was, as in people, it found its way into pockets that were not meant to be, as in they were not meant to be, then there must be proper accountability. Garrett, there must be proper accountability, because I cannot fathom, I cannot simply understand how a country that is poor, a country that has been, that just left the IMF, can spend 42.2 million on Garrett, the focus of which was to deal with these flooding issues. And the problem has even escalated. You understand? So we need to have proper accountability. And once we've done that, then our politicians, whether MPP, whether NDC, whether UP, we must all renew our commitment to the spirit and letter of our constitution. Because when we say this our constitution guarantees us a right to life, it does not only mean thou shalt not kill. It means that we have a responsibility to the people of Ghana, not just to protect their lives, but also to create situations where their lives will not easily be lost, where they can have lives or live a life that is one that has a dignity. And I'm praying that once we do this, that next year, Roland, we'll all be alive. We won't come here to discuss flooding again. It's sad and it's a shame.
Prince Ani Ayok in the UK even says that you can't even do a partition in your own house. That is dividing a bigger room into two without approval from the council in the UK. So what should we be doing?
Roland, our systems must work. But briefly, I think that Kofi decided to veer off into an arena that if he wants us to get there, he will be very uncomfortable.
He's only stating.
For example, he said
he's a political animal. So what do you expect?
He said that President Mahama said it's not a problem of engineering, but it's his attitude now. Well, President Akufo-Addo said same when he was president in April 2019. He stated that it's an issue of attitude, and he even told us that he will not deal with the problem of flooding if our attitudes don't change. But the big question for all of us to address this moment, what has President Mahama done about flooding? As far back as March 2025, before the rainy season, when he decided to put this committee together, the Standogbe committee, the committee announced what they were going to do, including demolition at Ramsar site. Has that not been done? It has been done. Again, they said they were going to collaborate with the 48 engineers regiment to that was last year. That was last year. They started. It has been done. This year they did again. I made a statement that I think Kofi must pay attention to. That, but for the work of this committee, it could have been worse. Don't forget, the Meteo folks are telling us that the rainfall pattern this year will be the highest in 40 years. That's what they are saying. That the rain we are experiencing this year will be the highest.
We'll get more rains.
We'll get more rains than we have ever had in the last 40 years.
I see.
So if you look at the fact that, yes, Accra is flooding. Yes, we are seeing some buildings collapsing and what have you. But for the intervention by this committee and but for the work of the Greater Accra
seriously, we don't need lamentations.
We are not lamenting. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on.
It could have been worse.
Christian Yale.
We must credit the government for that.
Christian Yale is at the latest disaster site, and we're talking about the site where we had the building collapsing. And what can you tell us, Mr. Yale? Mr. Yale. Mr. Yale.
Hello, can you hear me?
Please, what can you tell us being the latest? We know the rescue efforts have been undertaken, and what are the contraindications?
All right, so Roland, yes, the rescue effort has been undertaken. 2 lives lost. 2 saved, or 2 are surviving. As it stands currently, when you get to this area around the North Industrial area, about 2 or 3 earth-moving equipment, the caterpillars, are on the actual site. And so you see in your shot over there that there is one that is trying to excavate the debris, and then there is another one that is, lifting the debris into a truck. I'm going to show you that very shortly. But then again, the questions are continuing in one direction about what happens in the built environment, the kind of permission or permit that people secure. Because Roland, if we had a permission, I would have shown you that where the building, the collapsed building was, had a major drain just behind it. And so that tells you that there will be some level of porosity when it comes to the land structure itself. That is one thing that engineers are talking about. And so they have realized over the period that certainly there are no designs, there are no permits from the assembly. No one has been able to confirm anything as such. And so that is what is happening. There is this story building which was just beside the collapsed 3-story. Now the indications we are picking is that possibly today the Interior Ministry and other allied ministries may secure a demolition permit sort of to bring that down, because when you realize, you could see that aspect of this story building have also been affected by the collapsed building, although because the the vibration of it as it goes down one way or the other would affect the existing structure. So the ministries would seek to get the necessary permits to bring down these buildings should they, realize or find out that, the structural integrity of these buildings are in question. And so you see right now, the military, let me put it that way, the military who are operating these earth moving equipment, trying to excavate the debris and also trying to evacuate the debris as well. Just a while ago, there were about 2 trucks here that they have offloaded, that they have loaded some of the debris into, which have moved. And so very shortly, these trucks are going to make a return to the site, and then the remainder of the debris would be loaded into it, and then gradually the space would be cleared. But what we know is that yesterday, a 3-story building that houses some metallic shops and other businesses in it was collapsed after the downpour. Roland, what it means is that, as always, questions are asked about, why do building failures persist in Ghana? That is one question. And then people will continue to examine, especially experts and those that you are engaging in the studios, will continue to examine the roles of enforcement as well as construction practices and the broader challenges within the built environment. And we do expect, Roland, that later today would have some ministers and other task force authorities to come around. We know that yesterday the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, was here together with the Interior Minister, Muntaka Mubarak Mohammed. And so, Roland, when you look at this side, you realize that when you look at this side where I'm going to show you, there is just a major drain just behind where you have the vehicles and the buses parked, where you have these heavy equipment coming from. When we don't have the permit to go there now because it is a danger zone, as it were. But you realize that those are some of the critical questions that anyone would have asked. Now, the engineers that we have spoken to off record before I joined you live have indicated that they've not cited any permit at all from the assembly. The works engineer from the assembly, I mean, the one from what I'm gathering, the one who was around when this building was erected, has been transferred. And so we are seeking to get answers from the one who is there currently to know exactly who issued the permit for this building, if there was any. And then looking at such a busy area, this is North Industrial Area, Aveno we're talking about. There are companies sited around. Yesterday, we know that a mosque that is just close had people sleeping inside or relaxing inside who were affected, who are among the survivors we are talking about today, Roland. And so that is the situation here. Efforts are ongoing to evacuate the debris. Some you still see here. You realize the earth moving equipment are now onto the site, pushing the debris and trying to clear the way. You also realize that there are some individuals over there also assisting in the ongoing efforts. There is the military here. There is the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, here. There is also the Ghana National Fire Service here, and a host of other professionals, including the Ghana Institution of Engineering, who are also here, who are all considering what to be the way forward after here. Roland.
Quite a sad scene, and just like you've been reporting throughout the period, we know the rescue efforts are on, but we're hoping that we can take a cue from this. And this is the second building that's collapsed within this flood season, so to speak, or period. Quite sad. Christian Yale, thank you for the update. And
I think I have to make my last comment on this issue. So
just,
first of all,
2 minutes.
I didn't really politicize the conversation. If my two brothers had paid attention to the broader contours of my argument. Number one, the broader contour, number one, is inability to identify the problem. I'm saying that President Mahama initially said it's an engineering problem, then later said it's not an engineering problem. So if the president himself is unable to identify the problem, how do we solve the problem? And the president said that it's indiscipline problem and not engineering problem just recently.
Yeah.
So even contradicting what his own task force is doing. So that was the number one thing I said. If you reference Akufo-Addo made one statement. I am referencing the inconsistency in what the president himself has said. That's number one. Number two, I spoke about the benefit of experience, that President Mahama experienced the worst flooding disaster. So he has that benefit to offer more now. Not necessarily politicizing him, but he's the president. I have to hold him accountable now. Number three, I spoke about my expectation of the task force and what they are doing. And I cited examples of how a few months prior to this rainy season, we should have seen some degree of exercise, education, etc. For example, Santoy, East Legon Hills, probably for the first time.
No.
I'm just saying probably. I'm not
on a massive scale like
okay,
this.
Yeah, so still my argument
it's
is
just one bridge, Charlie. It's crazy. And
so
it's all the case.
So my brother, if education and all of these things had happened, maybe a deliberate effort to fix that bridge would have been done to solve whatever problem it was. And then lastly, my last broader contour argument was that the insensitivity of those in charge now, that you don't receive an award during a disaster, that if you are put in charge of a task force, you don't veer to a different topic. That was the argument I was making. I didn't politicize the issue. Perhaps because I mentioned Standogbe and president and the regional minister, it felt like I was politicizing it. But these were the broader contours. These were the points I was making.
Yeah. So we want to do Confanoche before we go.
So just 2 minutes.
Yes, sir.
I think, see, when it comes to issues about flooding, what we are seeing, yes, because the president is the head of state and or in terms of policy, the Ministry for Works and Housing and all the various ministries must have a clear policy direction.
Yeah.
But I feel that, for me, the biggest issue is our failure to strengthen local.
No problem. But you do agree with me that it is highly troubling.
I'm not
one second.
I'm
making a point. I'm saying you do agree with me that it's highly problematic if the president says the problem is not an engineering problem.
No. You see, so that is my interpretation. You see, the president having said the two things, it's simply saying that, in my view, that it's not just an engineering problem.
The problem is both. The president didn't just say that. No, the president didn't say. He said it's not an engineering
problem. I'm saying that.
So what's
I have already
the same thing. What is the fourth time you are saying this?
I'm saying that in my opinion.
Okay,
your opinion. It's not just I come here to say my opinion. You understand? It's not just an engineering issue. It's also an issue of
attitude now.
Which everybody. But whichever way you look at it, whether it is an engineering one, whether it's an ethical one, the onus lies on government.
Exactly.
And I'm saying that in my opinion,
we are doing.
In my opinion,
by collecting awards. Yeah.
You see, in my opinion, you see, we need to allocate the job properly. I'm saying. Yes, the president is the head of state. He has ministries. They lead by policy. But the real job, in my opinion, falls on the local government.
I agree with you.
And I think that we ought to strengthen and build the institutions of our local government.
I agree.
So when it comes to matters of enforceability, like I said,
I agree.
Simple one is this 60% of your ground ought to be.
In fact, I feel like when somebody...
I think that both of you are failing to appreciate the fact that, but for the work that has been done, it would have been
Stop.
It's important.
What you have seen, you think...
Please allow Lawyer Piadankwa to talk.
So stop.
Engineer Piadankwa.
Honorable Adam, stop what you are saying.
So you see, at the end, we have a huge problem still. And I'm saying just enforcing the laws. Local government just enforcing the laws, as in not allowing buildings to happen at places where buildings are not supposed to happen. In fact, last week, I was privileged to have been invited to Ablekuma West, their MC has done very well. He did very well.
Lawyer,
I'm coming. Confronted with this issue,
you said issue.
the MC Fabric one, where it's brought together all the stakeholders within the area, including the chief of Edam Suman, and including the Forestry Commission, the Hydraulics Department, the Fiscal Planning, and they and see, you can see real commitment in the fact that that meeting brought out the fact that the major problem with flooding in that area had to do with they dealing or finding a storm drain around there. There's a boiler, some residents down there. Once they solve that issue, a lot of the flooding that happens around the Malam, those areas, and I feel that things are happening. At least I said I was privileged to have sat in the Ablekuma West
and the task force didn't know.
Listen, I'm saying forget about the politics. The point is, you see, we have local government. Let us strengthen the local, and that's why I'm bringing the
president rather appointed a czar.
Why didn't
the president enforce?
Keep quiet. When you tell you to talk,
you talk. You mentioned the czar. This is the fifth time you are mentioning czar. It's okay. Allow him to make.
He's the
last person. Now we'll go to.
Stop. Let me land. When you're speaking, I keep quiet.
Listen, you are looking for his type in your party. You are not getting.
Let me just say
for Standubi's type in your party. You are not getting.
For what?
Ghanaians, the president,
anything around Standubi, you guys
let us strengthen our local government. Let us strengthen the institutions there.
Exactly.
Let us just enforce the law. Let us follow the building codes.
Exactly.
We should not be afraid to enforce the law.
Yes,
once we enforce the law at the local levels, and once we show our commitment by investing in proper infrastructure, storm drains and all, and enforce the law, and ensure that people are disciplined. Because the duty of government to ensure people are disciplined. Once we do that, I'm praying that next year we do not come here again and come and discuss this flooding issue, because it makes all of us very, very laughable. It makes all this very laughable when it's like we are not serious. We ought to be serious, but we will only be serious if we are committed to the law and to our commitment to protecting the lives of the people.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
thank you.
Charlie G.
Thank you for the thesis.
We're told that there's a truce now. The Minister for the Ashanti region, that's Dr. Frank Amakohene, after having some consultation, says that the medical doctors as well as the nurses have made a decision not to embark on this. But it looks like the profession, they are not happy with the minister.
Well, Roland, I've always maintained that when it comes to the provision of essential services, the professions like nursing and medical doctors and what have you, we must always place engagement as the first option rather than going on strike. Because if, for example, you are unhappy with a comment or an action taken by the sector minister, you go on strike, and let's say even the minister is reshuffled or the minister ceases to be a minister, a minute, an hour or a day of you being on strike, lives will be lost. And so the lives are not replaceable where you would say after a certain action is taken against the said minister, you could also repair the damage. And so I always say that whenever there is a difficulty in the relationship that nurses, doctors, midwives, and other providers of essential services are with any sector ministry, I believe that the first option should always be an engagement to have the problem resolved. I was worried when I followed the developments over the weekend. I was worried because the proactivity of the minister and his decision concerning how the CEO for the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital closed or shut down the provision of services, shut down the hospital without passing through the proper administrative procedures. The response from the medical doctors, I thought, in all humility to the doctors, I thought that it was a bit far-reaching, and I thought they could have chosen a better path of engagement. But I'm happy that the Ashanti Regional Minister, the young, enterprising, excellently performing minister, who himself is a medical doctor, has been able to step in, intervene, and as we speak, we are told that the doctors have decided not to embark on the said strike, and so they will continue providing their services. Roland, the challenge we have, and I said this on a sister station the last time, it is not an Akando issue. Akando as minister, and I said this last week and I'll repeat it on your station, that he's actually one of the best performing ministers.
You are still giving awards.
Hey. I'm not giving an award. I'm not. You see, this issue of award. I'm very. You know my principles and convictions on awards.
Stop the
but you see, when I say it, I don't even expect you in the MPP to join me to talk about it. You have been consistent about it. At the time we're having the worst crisis, even DDEP, your ministers lined up. They actually queued cabinet ministers to receive the same award. In fact, the gentleman didn't say this is the maiden award. This is the 6th edition. So your ministers, including Napo, Ojoko, look, all of them, they lined up. They were actually in a queue to receive the same award. Okay. So when I mention this award issue, I am mentioning it because as a member of the NDC, I have been concerned since. And I raised this concerns even when in opposition. And even before the awards were given last weekend, Roland, I've spoken about this publicly, that the chief of staff should look into it and ensure that that same level, that trap of mediocrity, we must not fall into it.
But you have fallen into it already.
When a few people fell into it, again, consistently,
you are already in the
ditch. But you see, when I'm saying it, I don't expect you to be talking about it.
You're already in the ditch.
You know why I don't want you to join me? Because when we were experiencing our worst crisis, Roland, 2022, even pensioners, their investments were taken away from them. DDEP, a lot of people lost their investment. At the time, Ghanaians were demanding timetable from the energy ministry. When Napo was the minister, he was on stage receiving the same awards. So this award issue is not an NDC issue. You are actually the worst culprits. But that is not the focus of this conversation. My position on it is a position on principles, convictions, and I've been very consistent about it. Roland, I'm saying that Akando is one of the best performing ministers. One of the most effective. And I'll tell you why. No, you see,
they say they disagree.
You see, let me tell you the truth. And I will say it here. That I understand why it appears as though some, not all, some health professionals are not happy with the Honorable Akando. Because right from the word go, when he was appointed, many of them said they wanted somebody who was a health professional. Yeah. They said it. And I recall one of their union leaders went on radio to say that because Akando is a farmer, he does not think that Akando should be the health minister. Meanwhile, the ministry is the ministry for policy making. And some of the best health ministers we have had were not medical doctors. And Akando is saying, look, when you take our manifesto, the research manifesto, almost every key promise we made in health, Akando is able to fulfill it. Whether free primary health care, whether the Mahama cares, ensuring that NHIS is more effective by uncapping it and what have you, decentralizing healthcare to various villages, various communities. As we speak, almost every year, each district is constructing at least 3 chiefs compounds. So Akando's effectiveness must not be reduced to his relationship with some medical doctors who inherently think that to be a health minister, you must be a health professional. So that is not how you judge Akando. Akando is actually one of our best performing. But you see, Roland, the issue is not about Akando, because he inherited a very, very, very challenged sector, which is the health sector. The issue is about the fact that infrastructure. Yeah. Look, at the time CAT was constructed, it was supposed to be a referral center. But today, CAT has moved from just being an ordinary referral center to being regional hospital, teaching hospital, referral center for the northern zone.
They say, well, the safari.
Roland, with all of that, CAT is catering for close to 5.4 million people. So the problem is not an Akando problem. We must agree that generally we have an issue with healthcare in terms of infrastructure. So what is President Mohammed's solution? As we speak, many of these teaching hospitals, including CAF, including Kolebu, 37,
did not see any major retooling in the 8 years of the MPP. But under Akando, since last year, many of these hospitals are seeing retooling. As I speak to you this morning, Akando is on his way to the Volta region to provide medical equipment to the Volta Regional Hospital, Trafalgar, and some other facilities. And so it is not as though the ministry is not solving the challenges that we inherited. As if the health sector was perfect, then from January 2025, all of a sudden, we have challenges because of Akando. The problem is that
it doesn't seem to be getting the buy-in.
No, like I said, there are some people, let me tell you something. I have always maintained that, Roland, in terms of the professionals, in terms of with Akando's relationship with them, some of them just believe that to be a health minister, you must be a medical professional. So for them, no matter how Akando performs, they are not happy with him. And that's why I'm saying that to measure a minister, use the KPIs, use the metrics. Let's put Akando's performance against the ministers we've had under the MPP, against some of the many medical doctors that have occupied that position. So, like I'm saying, those who believe that Akando is not doing well, simply because he's not a medical professional, so nothing he does pleases them, we cannot please those people. Yeah. But the issue is that the gentleman is working. He is solving the problems. He is decentralizing healthcare. He is implementing the policies that we promised in our manifesto. So you may like him or you may not like him. But it does not take away the fact that the health sector today is better off than what we inherited. Yes, I agree that a lot needs to be done. I have heard him announce that government plans to complete some hospital projects and many more are being built so that we reduce the pressure on existing facilities. And I want to encourage the health minister to keep working and keep working hard. I believe that, Roland, by the time President Mahama exits as president, we will see many more hospital infrastructure being added to the existing ones.
You see, Adam and his party, they speak as if this is the first time they are coming into power. But you are the longest serving political party in this republic. Fact. So when you come and sit here and lament, remind yourself that you've been in power before. In fact, your party and the antecedents of your party had the privilege of ruling this country for 19 years straight. So if there was any government or political party that was really supposed to usher in this country into success, it would have been Jerry Rawlings' government, both as a military officer, head of state, and then as a constitutional president. So please, let's not create the impression that all the problems in Ghana culminated in the last 8 years. Let's stop it. Number two, you speak about Akando being the best performing minister than anybody else.
The best. I didn't say.
You actually said that he is better than every MPP minister.
Yes, he is better than any of your health ministers.
Yes. Except that
he's actually better than all your health ministers.
No problem. Except that all.
Adam, you said that. Allow him.
No problem. I want him to report me.
No problem.
That he is better than all the health ministers.
No problem. Except that the things you said to underpin that argument were things done by MPP. You reference NHIS. You reference. Let me finish.
I didn't reference NHIS. I said uncapping NHIS.
You said he's made it better. You just.
But who uncapped the NHIS?
No, please. Can I talk?
What I know. Because
was it your policy?
All I'm saying.
If the policy didn't exist, how are you going to make it better?
Roland,
please. Now let me talk.
I'm only saying that.
Allow him to talk.
You are
being unruly. Stop it. I don't need your advice. I don't need your advice. I don't need your suggestion.
You can't misquote me. You can't misquote people.
So what you said was that
Mahama Kest was that MPP.
Hold on. I'm coming.
No, the KPIs that I gave. Let me state it again.
Oh my God.
No, let me state it. Because you see, maybe somebody just tuned in and the person may pick your misinformation.
You had 15 minutes to express yourself. Let me talk.
I'm saying that in talking, Kofi,
you are the member of parliament for Ketu North.
So don't misquote me.
Watching you.
And they don't want you to misquote me. So tell him not to misquote me.
Stop it.
Okay, please go ahead.
Akando is better than any of your health ministers.
He said he supervised the uncapping.
Yes. No problem. But it was MPP's policy.
That's what I said.
And you claim if it didn't exist,
actually capped it.
the program didn't exist, what were you uncapping if something didn't exist? Mahama Cares is basically taking NHIS levy money and segmenting it to what they call advanced or critical healthcare issues that they have to do. About 5%. Primary care is about 10% of NHIS money. That is all. The funding for Mahama Cares and for primary care are both from NHIS levy. So President Kufuor's legacy. So don't come and sit here and tell me Akando has done well when the things you are saying he's done well are premised on our legacy. Stop it. Now let me go to the issue. First of all, doctors, we thank you for your services. Please let me talk. We thank you for your services and everything you are doing for us. Doctors are not perfect, just like any human institutions. But they are doing the most that they can under the circumstances. Politicians take Prados and Land Cruisers, etc. Do we give Land Cruisers to doctors? Do we offer them all the resources they need? The question is no. Governments over the years, we don't give them all the things they need. So they are forced to do the best that they can under the circumstances. Now, here is the issue. And listen to me very carefully. As a minister of health, one of your cardinal strengths should be your ability to de-escalate crisis. There is a crisis in Kumasi. The CEO, along with management, says that, you know what, based on the issues that we are having, instead of receiving all the emergency cases, we are going to identify hospitals nearby and send some of the patients there. There are about 30 beds under the emergency care, and sometimes they are forced to take up to 60 people or more, depending on the circumstances. The president, the minister cannot tell me that he doesn't know this issue at Kolebo. In fact, when you read Akando's, when you read Akando's statements, over and over and over again, he keeps referencing the directive of the president that at the State of the Nation's address, the president gave a directive that you cannot turn anybody away. But if I am the manager in charge of Komfuanochi, and I know I can only take 30 people, I have stretched myself to take 60 people. Do you want me to take 1,000 people because the president has said so? Have you thought about the health implications? The cross-contamination, etc. Even the health of the medical officers who are taking care of them. The point is, when the president gave that directive, did he offer any resources to say that in the next 30 days or 60 days, let's even set up prefabricated emergency wards around the hospitals? For example, if the president had given even $5 million and said that let's identify the major hospitals in the country, Kolebu, 37, Komfuanochi, the one in Cape Coast, the one it may be Trafalgar in Ho, and then maybe Takrade. Go ahead and set up with the engineering regiment of the Ghana military, set up within 30 days to 40 days, prefabricated emergency centers. Let's put all the equipments in as we plan to open all the other hospitals that we can. That would have made it possible for example, Komfuanochi to take on 100 people, Kolebu to take on additional 100 emergency cases. Then you can hold the hospitals accountable. But the president cannot just say, don't turn people away without offering any resources. So Akando should tell us, what did he do in the last 30 or 45 days since the president's directive? But you don't have any de-escalation skills. In fact, when you read his statement from yesterday, you know what Akando said? He said, it is unfortunate that the doctors have taken the decision to go on strike. Rather than saying, I recognize the challenges you have faced and I want to work with you. You know, when you go through the statements, even before Akando attempts to acknowledge the concerns of the doctors, it was number 18. You would have had to read 17 different paragraphs before you get to number 18.
Well, it was in the statement. What's your point?
The point I'm making to you is de-escalation of crisis. The order of your actions matter. The order of your comments matter. Look, you see, Adam, pay attention. Even the statement that said, I am summoning you to me, was the wrong statement. A simple statement like, I have come to be aware of this issue. I am immediately going to engage the CEO and management so we can come up with an amicable solution within the next 48 hours. That would have been enough. But to say, I am summoning you, then you issue a secondary statement saying that I have suspended. That is not a de-escalation strategy. You rather compound the problem. And that is why it led to the doctors' strike. And this is not the first time. He did the same in Tamale. Aside from that, Akando doesn't even have the competence of change management. And I'll give you an example. Please, let me talk. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. What do you mean by
he doesn't have the competence?
I am giving you an example. He came in and said...
You can say you question...
You don't tell me what to say. This is what I'm saying, my brother. No. Number one, you came in, there's a system called LAME system, which is a hospital management system. You take the position that that hospital management system has contractual issues. Now, that system is helping hospitals manage cases from different places.
The application.
The application system. Now you shut down that system without having a new system in place. So hospitals have had to go back to paper. Is that proper change management?
That's not true.
What is not true? Is that proper change management? You come in, there are drones that are helping with emergency care. You say that some of it were used to carry condom. So you have suspended that program. Is that proper state change management?
Which one? The
drone program. So look, it's not like medical doctors are some difficult people who don't like Akando. His own actions starting from a Tamale. His own actions enrage.
And these comments are views you've picked up.
I am saying that through my analysis, it is not the doctors and nurses hate Akando. It is through his own actions, commentary, and lack of certain ability that you need to manage healthcare. For example, you promised nurses that you were going to take them on. Then you later on come and say, the commentary he made about the nursing recruitment angered so many people. So it's not about the doctors thinking that Akando is not fit for it and he's not a medical doctor. No, it's about his actions. And I've given you several of them. About change management, about his inability to de-escalate issues. These are the real issues. So don't blame the doctors. Don't even try it.
Before he comes, just
no.
It's like 8:50.
You see, you had 15, he had 10.
Okay. It is strange that
suspended.
That for a country that has woefully failed to meet the requirements of the WHO in terms of emergency beds.
Yes.
The WHO standard is 5 beds per every 1,000 population.
Yeah.
Ghana's ratio is hovering around 0.7, 0.5. You understand? And strangely, we managed to allow the politicians to dodge this issue and then shift it on some poor CEO sitting somewhere. Honestly, I don't understand why Akando Somoto took the decision to...
you also don't support it?
No, it doesn't make sense. But it's very strange.
You think it was arbitrary?
No, I'm thinking that it's strange that the biggest problem we are facing in terms of the health sector today is, and I think you alluded to that fact, Tonto has also alluded to that fact, the fundamental lack of infrastructure in that sector. You understand? To think that we had COVID and COVID exposed the frailties in that sector.
Yeah.
That's not because of politics. I don't understand why a hospital like Afari.
And that's Sewa.
And what?
Afari, Sewa. These are different towns.
Yeah.
In Ashanti.
I think the projects were started by Sensei John Mama also.
Yes. I'm not sure of the fact.
Yes. Yeah. And they were abandoned. Also. They were abandoned.
It was not entirely abandoned.
No, but the point is that
94% complete.
Yeah, but
that's why we left it. It was not abandoned.
The fact is, it's interesting that for a sector as critical as health, we've allowed politics to hamper that sector to extend that all of our lives are always at risk. You only need to pray that you do not have an emergency situation. You are likely to die.
I think that for many Ghanaians, that's a big point.
Yeah, and we are playing politics when we have this issue. You know what? So the what's it called?
General Hospital.
Was it a polyclinic?
It was a polyclinic.
It was a polyclinic.
Then they said they would build the General Hospital.
They destroyed it, and they didn't have any plan.
No, they had a new hospital, so they
that being planned.
Demolished it.
So they told us what has happened to that. Agenda 111.
Yes, 111.
What was the focus?
That's 2020.
Yeah.
April, they said it will be 88. Then subsequently it went to...
Was the focus in Agenda 111 to deal with the fundamental lack of infrastructure, or was motivated just by the need for procurement? Oh. You understand? The point I'm trying to make is, well, don't say, oh. You see, we have serious problems. You understand? And over the years, not just Akando, but also in the previous regimes and all other regimes, we have serious issues in our healthcare, in education, you understand? In areas that we ought to take critical look at enforcement of Article 13. Because I'm saying Article 13 is not, the interpretation of Article 13, more opinion, is not that shall not kill. The interpretation there is positive. Government has an obligation to ensure that we do not just have life, but we have a life that has some dignity. You understand? And yet, we play games with this. So you see, Akando, in my opinion, Akando was wrong in how he handled this issue. Akando should focus on the president himself.
What do you think? What do you think the solution should be? Quickly, in a minute.
Yeah, we need to deal with this emergency, the lack of emergency bed issue. As if 0.5, the standard is 5. The standard is 5. The standard is 5, and we are at 0.7. You see, if the issue is one of financing, then we should take advantage of the PPP Act. Understand? Find a way of attracting private investment capital into our healthcare service, because we are in a dire situation now as a country. We are in a situation where where you ought to pray that you not find yourself in any.
I think the PPP way is what he announced. The Agenda 111 will have to go.
And in support of what my brother Tuntu also said, that he has to find a way of handling the medical doctors. Understand? Yeah. Mind of de-escalating some of these issues, because at the end of the day, antagonizing them and
he never antagonized them.
No, he did.
So on the table, it's only Adam who is for
He did not antagonize them. I think let's be fair.
Charles Boateng says that please tell Kofi Tonto that the NHIS existed long before, and so he sent a card, and that during the Rawlings administration it was piloted. It was piloted, and then he sends something.
I'm happy you. That's exactly what I want to say.
Pull some old document. This is what they are pulling around. Though. I've seen that document.
This is not the first time this issue has been raised. 19 something.
Okay, so he has health insurance scheme stamp, Damango.
Facts that you can't dispute. It was
and that's 1998, 1997.
You see, Roland,
and then he also sends a parliamentary hazard
funding for that program.
There's even a parliamentary hazard.
No, what does that do?
Charles Boateng, thank you for the message. And then I have this one also from Kofi Fosu Mensah Asing Sebenso. He says that, have you guys observed that it's an irony in your appearance today? All of you are wearing blue, except Kofi Tonto.
Oh, but I'm also wearing some blue. Green and red. There's some blue, there's green, there's red, and there's white, black.
Kweku Aaron, good morning to you. Aaron, good morning to you. Says that truth be told, he's a health professor. He said, truth be told, the health minister shouldn't have suspended the CEO. We all condemned that. He's making the health sector very bad. Just look at the recruitment process of nurses this year. He needs to be reshuffled.
He's a macho man. That's all
even NDC, he says that even come to various health facilities. Even NDC pro-health professionals speak against him. So the government should take.
I know many medical doctors.
Hey Charlie, can you allow me? Let me read messages.
I know many nurses.
Let me read messages. Seth says. Seth says, Garrett with World Bank report was put together after the June 3 disaster, but the disbursement of the financial support came through the Akufo-Addo administration in the last 8 years. if more than $800 million, no, $300 million was used for Garrett projects, the flooding situation we experience now would have been minimal. Not that they would have. Okay.
Ask the person about the Conti project.
And then
ask the person about the Conti project. But the point is, if you are talking about funding, which government hasn't had funding?
Kofi Kwating Amanim, good morning to you. He says that
$690 million.
Show Kofi Tonto the approval of the additional financing for the Garrett projects, and then he will not go about undertaking politics with the flooding situation.
When President Mahama was...
He will again raise the issue of Agenda 11. He hasn't raised Agenda 11 so far, so... Okay.
We did over 200 hospital projects. I have all the lists, but I didn't even have time.
Okay. And this one is coming from Carl. He says that, what does Kofi Tonto know about change management as a tool? Just insulting the minister.
I know a lot about change.
He says he knows a lot about change. He was, and then Richmond, Nika, he says he was in corporate America for 10 years. All right. Now, TV3 in partnership with the German embassy in Accra invites you to Climate Talks 2026. It's taking place in Tamale and it's under the theme Building Climate Security Resilience in Ghana. And join the conversation on climate-induced conflict and community resilience in northern Ghana. And this is featuring the German ambassador to Ghana. And so watch live from the Pania Guest Lodge, Tamale, on June 10. It will be at 10 a.m. on TV3. It will be live across our digital platforms as well. So be part of the conversation, shaping Ghana's climate future.
By locking the assets.
Again, we have to remind you that Big Issue is sponsored by the University of Gold Coast. Now, whether you're aiming for a specialized MBA, etc., you want a degree or an MBA in human resource, finance, they have everything well structured for you. If you're a worker, you can work and go to school. Even if you want to pay your fees in installments, you can reach out to them. Admissions are ongoing, so make sure you call them today on the number. And I'll tell you the number in a bit. And the number for you to get in touch with the University of Gold Coast is 026 388 8555. Gentlemen, thank you for spending your morning with us. We are taking a break. We'll be right back. Please bring them the coffee. Bring them.
In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us. An honest dialogue moves us forward. This is a space for depth, where voices are heard and perspectives matter. Conversations with Dr. Abnanya Kwasmeni, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Around us is changing, not slowly, not quietly. In the north, the rains that once arrived on time don't come anymore. In the middle belt, rivers and forests disappearing overnight. Along the coast, the sea is swallowing land that families have called home for generations. Rising temperatures, failed harvests, homes lost to tides. This is not a warning about tomorrow. This is the world right now. TV3 and the German Embassy in Ghana. The conversation on climate security implications in Ghana. Climate Talks 2026. 5 cities, 5 conversations, 1 urgent call to action. Tamale, Bolgatanga, Kumasi, Keta, Accra. Starting this June 2026. The climate talks are coming, and this time the people most affected by Ghana's climate security crisis will be at the center of it all. Because the time for Ghana to act is now. In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us. An honest dialogue moves us forward. This is a space for depth, where voices are heard and perspectives matter. Conversations with Dr. Abnanya Kwasmeni.
Switzerland, Susia, Turkey, USA, Uzbekistan, Uruguay, Ivory Coast. Let's play football.
Yes, Bill is just reminding me that we're just 3 days away from the World Cup, and I thought we had like a whole week to go. But yes, Billy Sean is joining me in the studios. It's time for sports.
Hi, Bella.
How you doing?
I'm good.
3 days to the World Cup.
Yes.
I never thought we were going to get this close.
We are this close now. We are this close. And
Okay.
I'm officially in World Cup mode.
I have the jitters already.
Oh.
I think it's because of the Black Stars. Like, I so want them to do well.
Everybody
and I hope,
does.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
that we're able to at least get to at least semi-finals.
Hey, you've now become a Reverson.
Well, is it not possible?
When he said it, I said A. So
So
I'll
why?
give you the same reaction.
No, but why?
Why?
That's a bonus.
Yes.
We don't have the men?
We have the men to compete.
Okay.
But the men to go that far, it's a bit of a stretch to me.
But I've seen comments about the English team, and
Yeah.
people were asking, really, is this the English team? If this is the team, then we can beat them. What do you think? You've seen the team as well.
I've seen Harry Kane. Harry Kane is enough.
I don't know why you guys think that him alone is enough to...
Oh, he's enough.
Really?
When he plays one shot, you understand why I say he's enough.
I mean, I've seen him play, I understand,
Yes.
but is it not a collective effort?
Oh, it's just collective.
So why are we putting all the pressure on Harry Kane as if he's the only one that can just kick us out?
Oh, there's Bellingham and the rest, but
Ah.
I'm most afraid of Harry Kane.
Really?
Yes.
Who are they most afraid of on our team?
On our team, oh, it'll be Semenyo.
Semenyo.
It'll be Semenyo.
Yeah. So we
Semenyo.
also have Semenyo.
Yeah, we have Semenyo.
We have Irenchi.
Yes.
Yes.
And they have Harry Kane.
That I've given you two.
They have Bellingham.
Okay, it's okay. Don't go far
Uh-huh.
because now when you add, hey, okay. What? I don't like asking this question, but you know, there's this other English player. He runs like this. They've been teasing him a lot. Sterling, is he playing?
No, he's not. It's not
Oh,
part.
why?
He's not that good anymore.
How did you know that he's the one I'm asking?
Oh, because I've seen a lot of memes. Even Hazard did the same.
Yeah, he does. He does
and it's
this,
like
Sterling.
this. Yeah.
Oh,
He's well
okay.
known for that.
I
Nobody
see.
runs like him, so.
So they have only two players.
Oh, they
We-
have
we
a number.
have- Huh?
They have a number of players. I didn't mention Saka.
Ah, Saka is there too. It's
Yes,
true.
yes. Oh, they have players.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Now I'm remembering them. It's okay. No, but I think we'll go far.
Oh yeah, we'll go far enough.
Quarterfinals, semi-finals. Who knows?
That's a bonus for me.
Well, Coco says we're going to finals. Listen, if we get to finals, this country will be empty because all of us will be going to the UK. I mean, the USA.
Hey!
Listen,
you
won't
book the
you
flight.
go?
Oh, we'll go.
We won't book a flight.
How would you go?
Our government will charter flights for us.
Hey!
Listen, you see the same way they brought us, the Ghanaians from
Yeah,
South Africa.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
how, yeah. They'll
Fair.
say free tickets. Everybody come and
Fair.
sit inside. Let's go.
Fair. Actually, if we get there, then that would be amazing.
I hope we do.
Oh yeah, everybody should hope they do. Including me, I have hope, but on a logical
Your hope
basis.
is not much.
Oh, on a logical basis, I don't think.
No, but Carlos says that we're going to, I mean, they're going to give us a shock. Like, you know, we should expect.
Yeah, we want the shock. We want it. The shock will be that semi-final. That one will, will shock me. You understand?
This is them training currently?
Yes, yes. They've been training in the US for a number of days. I think very soon they will go to the actual camp base, which is Bryant University at Rhode Island, Boston. That's what we expect. We are
But
still
our first game is not in Boston,
No,
is it?
it's in Toronto.
Yes.
Yes. But
so
then,
they'll fly from there, then they'll
Yes.
come back to Boston.
Yes.
Because that's why we're playing England.
we'll play England in Boston.
In
yes.
Boston, yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, these guys have been training. So far, we've not heard any injury news, and we are still waiting to see who the Black Stars face in a friendly basis before the World Cup starts. Because
Honduras pulled out?
the Honduras name is there, but we are not sure whether they're actually going to play. What we've heard is it could be behind closed doors and all of that.
What? The friendly could be behind closed doors?
Yes.
Why?
Oh, I mean, they are hiding their tactics.
What time would they play?
From Panama.
That we can play.
From Panama and the rest. You know.
Oh,
you know,
mean our Black Stars are the ones who are trying to do the.
You know, to be
closed
fair,
door?
some people are not happy that there's a possibility they play behind closed doors. But I do understand on the basis of if you play openly, Panama might send scouts to come and watch.
Yeah.
So behind closed doors.
But they can still plant scouts.
Oh yeah,
in
they
the
can still
closed door.
find ways.
Exactly.
Just that behind closed doors, you have a better opportunity to see whoever comes in, who goes out. Yes.
Ideally, when is that game supposed to happen? Tomorrow?
Supposed to happen. Today is the 8th.
Yes.
So latest by the 10th.
Okay.
Yes.
Latest by the 10th.
10th.
We also don't want to wear out our boys too much because they
Yeah,
need to be
that's
fresh
also
and
fair.
ready.
Yeah, that's also fair. But their first World Cup game is on the 17th.
Okay.
So it's only understandable if they do play on the 9th or on the 10th.
Okay.
That's they'll get enough time to rest and then be ready for the first game. So yeah, we are still waiting to see whether Ghana actually play Honduras or any other country before.
Are there any other countries that we've listed so far?
I heard of Jamaica. I don't know if that's.
Are they in the World Cup? No.
No, they are not.
Oh.
They reached the playoffs, but they were
But they
knocked
couldn't
out.
make it, yeah. Okay, all right, cool. No problem. But Reverson, he gave you the shock when he said we can get to quarterfinals.
Yes, he said semi-finals.
Semi-finals.
Yes.
But beyond that, he's been talking to you guys about a number of other things.
Yeah, he did come to us on Saturday on Warm Up Plus. We asked him a number of questions, especially about his time in camp. Remember, he was part of the 28-man squad that went to camp, went to Wales to prepare for that friendly. Unfortunately, he did not make the final squad, but he has come back to Ghana to, relax. And this is what he said to 3 Sports when we asked him a few questions ahead of the World Cup.
You have wished they added you to the World Cup squad?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. But now's not the time, I think. I'm still very young, so we'll see in about 4 years.
So, how far do you think Ghana will go to the World Cup?
I would think they reach the semi-final and even further.
He's 20.
20?
Yeah.
He says he's still young. In the football world, isn't 20?
Oh, it's young enough.
Still fairly young.
To be fair, for goalkeepers, they have like a longer shelf life when it comes to football.
Okay.
They can play until 40, after 40.
After 40.
So I think for him, he's of a good age.
And what was his demeanor like? Did he look disappointed?
Oh, he looked calm, to be fair. He looked quite calm. And to be honest, that was his first Black Stars call-up.
Yeah.
I mean, the real first was the Mexico friendly, and then joining the team in Wales. It would have been difficult to displace Atizigi, Asare, and then Joseph Anan, because they've all been around for over a year at least.
But is it about how long someone has been around for? It's about the quality of play.
Yeah, so the thing is, it's a double-edged sword, right? You can look at the quality, which is very fair. On the basis of quality, Iñaki Williams entered the squad for the 2022 World Cup. He had never played for the Black Stars before he was part, right? But on the basis of the goalkeeping position is very sensitive.
Okay.
And you probably need a goalkeeper who understands the players, has been around them for a while, has played with them, and will know how to communicate with them. So when you consider that, I think it will be a rush to put him in the squad for a tournament like a World Cup when he's not really settled into the team.
Anyway, well, let's talk about developing our football in Ghana as well, because the Como Football Club has some agents here.
Yes.
What's happening? What exactly is it for?
Yeah, Como is a club in Italy. They recently secured qualification to the Champions League for next season.
Nice.
The first time in their history. So they are a club on the rise when it comes to European football, managed by Cesc Fabregas, who is an Arsenal legend, former Barcelona footballer, former Chelsea footballer. Now, they have landed in Ghana to undertake a number of activities, including looking at, local talent and all of that. Okay. And 3 Sports went to meet them when they arrived at the airport. And we did ask the organizers and then some people of Como what their plans are for the number of days that they are going to spend here in Ghana.
We'll play that much later during the sports edition, of course, after 10 a.m. Sports Daily, actually.
Yes, Sports Daily.
So these are their players that I'm seeing
some
on
of
the
their
screen.
Players and then some officials who joined.
So it's more like an exchange program?
Yes, more or less.
But not to recruit some of our players?
They might.
If they find someone
they
good
could.
enough, they just
If they
might.
find, they could, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's see how it goes. But French Open, Alexander.
The French, this French Open was so open.
Pun intended, huh?
Yeah.
I like that.
So open. Because Carlos Alcaraz backed out before the tournament because of an injury. Yannick Sinner was knocked out very early. Djokovic was also knocked out by the Brazilian João Fonseca.
Yeah.
So it just opened up for anybody who wanted to win. And fortunately for Alexander Zverev, he managed to win it this time. He's had disappointments in the past.
Like three of them, right?
Yeah.
He's tried 3 times.
Yeah.
But when you say it was open for him, it's not as if he stood a chance, except that, of course, he got injured in one of them. The other ones, it didn't work for him.
Yeah, it didn't work.
But he's one of the liked ones that should have won by now.
He was... You wouldn't say he was a favorite. In truth, the favorite would have been Yannick Sinner and Novak Djokovic, because Djokovic himself, he's won the French Open before, very experienced. He's the greatest, according to many, greatest tennis player of all time. Yannick Sinner was also chasing that French Open. Last year, he was at the final. So he was also a favorite for this one. Zverev is not really that favorite. He's one who is in and around. He has the quality to at least get to a semi-final. But on a normal basis, if everyone was there,
he wouldn't.
He wouldn't.
But they call him the best in his generation that's never won a Grand Slam.
Yes.
Which is why I'm saying that. So he's actually he's supposed to be one of the favorites in his generation.
In his generation. But if you consider, if Carlos Alcaraz is there, Sinner is there, Djokovic is there.
To him. So you think that if these guys had played, he wouldn't have won?
I don't think he would have gotten that far. I think one of them would have knocked him out at some point. But
I see.
I think it's a very huge one for him. It's his first ever Grand Slam. He suffered disappointment upon disappointment because, again, the big guys have been around too. So, and
the last time he left in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Because he tore some ligaments and stuff, right?
Yeah. So really, very, very, very good for him. And hopefully he gets to win more. But
I hope so.
But the other guys, when they are there too, you suffer.
You will see. We'll see. And Serena is out of retirement.
Yes, she's back. She's back.
I like
she's back
that about her, though. There's something about her that I just love. Anyway, that's all time will allow. Maybe another time we'll discuss it. Yeah? But I'm sure you guys will go into details during the Sports Daily segment from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And so join Bill. Who are you on with today?
Mutala.
Oh, so it's you guys every morning?
Yeah.
Basically?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So Mutala and Bill will be on from 10 a.m. To give us more details in the sports world. And of course, we'll get some updates on the Black Stars and who they might be playing next in their friendlies. So thank you so much. I like your outfit, by the way. You look very sharp.
I like yours too.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, on that note, we'll be back with some more. This is TV3 Newday. Oh, but before we do, is giving you the opportunity to follow Ghana's World Cup journey in Toronto, Boston, and of course the other places as well. So whether you're in Ghana with a valid US or Canada visa, or you're part of the Ghanaian diaspora looking to experience the World Cup, Adansi Travels can help you secure match tickets and accommodation packages. And this will be your chance to be part of football's biggest event. So visit them now on their website, www.adansitravels.com. Adansi is ADANSI. So www.adansitravels.com to find out more. You can also call them on 059-5500817. 059-5500817. So we'll be back. We have some other conversations coming up. Don't go anywhere. He's the head of business development, National Petroleum Authority. Good morning. You're welcome. And Samuel Risberg is the head of research and development, Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies. Good to have you as well. So GIBCON, tell us a bit more about it. When did it start? What is it about? What does it intend to achieve?
Okay. So the maiden edition for GIBCON was in 2011. 2015, I beg your pardon.
Okay.
So it's been about 11 years since the maiden edition.
Yes.
So GIBCON was the brainchild of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors. And at the time, the National Petroleum Authority was organizing what we call the Downstream Colloquium. So we thought it wise to, because it was the same industry, to come together to partner with Seaboard to start organizing GIBCON.
Okay.
So the maiden collaboration was in 2018. Subsequently, there's been 6 editions, and this year is the 7th edition.
Ah.
Yes.
Nice. And what was it meant to achieve? Maybe I can bring Mr. Risberg in.
Yes. So GIBCON, as you've has already stated, is a strategic platform which is meant for the downstream petroleum sector to dialogue, to share insights, and as well as address the key challenges that has been in the industry.
I see.
So it brings about a lot of stakeholders who are in the industry, so from the regulators to the industry players, to academia, to investors, all these players into the industry to discuss the challenges, to share opportunities, and see and path a way forward for the industry.
So 11 years, 7 editions, right?
Yes.
What has changed? How has it evolved over the years?
Okay, so it's moved from looking more internally to looking outward. So typically, GIBCON would look at just Ghana and the sub-region. Subsequently, we've opened it up. It's more international now.
Okay.
Like Samuel mentioned, the objective is to inform best practice and also bring investment into Ghana's petroleum downstream.
Okay.
So typically you would have regulators now, not just from the West African sub-region, from East Africa, from Southern Africa, from Europe, from America, and the like.
I see. That's interesting. And the theme for this year?
The theme for this year is building a resilient petroleum industry, policy, innovation, and investment for growth. So every edition, we look at the pertinent issues for that particular period, and we carve a theme accordingly.
I see. Yes. So where's it happening?
So this year's GIBCON edition will be happening from the 16th and 17th of July 2006 at the Palms Convention Center in Accra. And
let's touch on that again, because I noticed the promo had another venue, but that's changed.
Yes, that's changed.
So Palms Convention Center
is the venue for GIBCON.
Okay. And of course, it's happening on what, the
16th to the 17th of July.
But there's also a gala night.
Yes, exactly.
When is that?
So the gala night will be on the 18th of July. So it would more or less climax the conference. And at this edition, we are looking to celebrate and also award industries and institutions as well as personalities who have distinguished themselves in the sector.
I see. Is it open to everyone to attend? Or is it an exclusive invitation-only event?
Okay, so there are 3 ways to register and get into GIBCON, right? So you can register, you can go to our website, which is www.gibcon, which is GHIPCON.com. You go to the registration. There are 2 options you have. You can register for free.
Okay.
But if you register for free, there will be a short list, so that there's no guarantee that you'll be admitted. Then there is the paid participation, which would cost you 1,500 cedis.
For the 3 days?
For the 2 days.
2 days?
Yes. So the
gala
awards is a different event.
Okay.
Yes. So for the 2 days, it gives you access to the conference and the exhibition. It also gives you access to F&B and also conference souvenirs.
Oh, I see.
Then we have a corporate package. So the corporate package admits 5. So with that, you get a discount of 500 cedis. So for the corporate package for 5, you pay 7,000.
I see. All right. So, well, if you're watching, you know exactly what to do. But who are some of these speakers? Let's whip up some excitement for those who may be interested in attending. Who are some of our
So
speakers?
for the speakers, the special guest of honor will be His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the President of the Republic. And we'll also be expecting the Sector Minister, Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Dr. John Jenapo. He will also be present for the section. And as well as leaders and CEOs of oil marketing companies, other petroleum service providers in the sector.
I see.
So there'll be a lot of local delegates as well as international delegates who will be present for this edition.
So quickly, how do we contact the organizers of GiveCon so we can be part of it, or if we want to make any inquiries?
Okay, so you can contact us via 0558-223678. You could also contact us on the email, on our email, which is GiveCon, officialgivecon.com.
Okay.
Additionally, you could also contact these numbers if you would want to sponsor. Sponsorships are also still open. You could look at either also becoming an exhibitor, which is also an opportunity for you to participate. So if you visit the website, the sponsorship tiers are categorized over there. You can look at which one best fits you. So we invite all stakeholders, direct and indirect stakeholders, to participate and take advantage of the sponsorship opportunities.
Absolutely, and the details are on your screens now, and so I hope you've taken a screenshot so you can at least get every information that you need. So GiveCon is starting on the 16th. From the 16th to the 17th of July, there's a gala that's also happening on the 18th, and so depending on which one you're attending, I hope that you get the best out of this event as well. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining me in the studios, and all the very best with this event.
Thank you.
All right, so I've been speaking to Osei Dankwa. He is the head of business development at the National Petroleum Authority, and Samuel Risberg is the head of research and development at the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies. We have another conversation coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
To pivot into a new direction with the essential legal skills.
Coordinator, Information Technology of Law, Technology Law, actually. Good to have you both in the studios.
Thank you.
Now, I mean, we're talking about a master's in law, and of course, you are entreating us to all come to the University of Ghana Law School. Why that in particular? Doc, will you start?
Well, I don't think I need to convince you that University of Ghana is the best.
Please, you have to convince me small.
Not just in Ghana, but continent-wide, University of Ghana ranks very high. And I mean, we've been in existence since 1958. We've gone through the mill. We have continuously improved on our programs. And since 2022, we then introduced 1920 programs for master's degree.
Okay.
And we think that we have a good mix of quality and good content of our programs.
Which is why you think that is the best?
I think so.
You think or you know, sir?
I know.
Aha! Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, and of course, we've run this program. This is our 4th year. So we also take feedback from our students.
Yeah.
And the feedback we get from the students are largely positive.
Positive.
Very.
Dorothy, so, I mean, I need to understand, we're talking masters in law, but there's also the LLM, right? So what's the difference between the two? Or maybe I should go back to Doc. Okay, Doc, I'll let you touch on this as well.
Okay, so the reason we say twin program is it's a master's degree program, but we have LLM and MA. So we admit students into the same class. If you have if you're a lawyer, you're a judge, you have some legal background, you have an LLB, you apply for the LLM program, and then but then if you don't have a law background, but you are a professional, let's say in my field, information technology law, okay, you are a professional in that area, or you have a keen interest, you can demonstrate the keen interest during interviews. You are not stopped from having access to legal education. To improve your ability to govern, your ability to create policies in that space. So if you have any degree other than law, you are then admitted into the MA program. So that's the difference between the LLM and the MA.
So even in communications, you can be admitted?
Yes, yes.
So in that case, what kind of masters are you getting?
Yeah, so you are getting an MA, okay, you are getting an MA degree in, let's use my area as an example. MA degree in information technology law.
So do you get to choose what course you want based on, your background?
Yeah, so based on your background, yes. So if you have a law degree, if you have a prior law degree, you can then apply for the LLM. If you do not have a law degree, you either you have an IT degree, or you have some other degrees, non-IT and non-law, you can still apply for the MA.
That means you have a lot of courses available for MA then at the law school. And I'm asking that because I want to know if there are a limited number of courses that you can apply for.
No, so...
Or do I get to choose? So let's just say that, like I asked.
Let me go through the list.
Explain, exactly, yes.
So we have, if you permit me,
go ahead.
We have 19 programs: alternative dispute resolution, corporate and commercial law, energy law, policy and practice, financial markets law and regulation, gender and the law, health law and ethics, human rights law and practice, information technology law, international law, labor law, law and development, law and practice of public administration, law for micro, small and medium scale enterprises, law of the sea and oceans governance, maritime law, national security law and practice, natural resources law, paralegal practice, tax law, policy, and practice. So you have 19 different areas that, depending on your interests and your background. But I was just explaining that the difference between the LLM and the MA. So if you want to go into any of these 19 programs and you have a law degree, then you're applying for LLM within that area. But if you do not have a law degree, then you're applying for an MA.
Okay.
But both sit in the same classroom. We only make a difference during the dissertation.
Dorothy, I'm coming to you now because, I mean, Doc has said that you need to have a degree other than law to be able to apply. Beyond that, what are some of the other requirements for admission?
Okay, so like Doc said, if you, depending on the program you want to apply for, if it's LLM, you need a law degree. From any recognized institution. You also, if you're applying for the MB, you don't need a law degree. All you need is a second class lower from any recognized degree, and then you apply to...
That's the minimum?
That's the minimum that you need to apply for the program. And whilst applying, you also need your transcripts and references. So if you schooled in Central University, you need references from your lecturers and things just to attest to the fact that, yes, you have the academic credentials to be able to undertake our course.
So then let me just add a little bit.
Okay.
We have had occasions when some of our students did not have that second lower, but they are able to show that since I graduated, I've done this, that. So they have some practical experience from the field. So during interviews, this is also
so work experience also counts.
Yes,
it does.
Yes, if you do not have,
if you don't
as
have
she said, if you do not have the minimum requirement.
I see. Oh, that's good then. Yes. So let's say I got even a third class.
Yes.
But I have some work experience that I can use to convince you. It means I can get in.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. Now we're talking. Everybody will be included. But that means that you're a worker. You're already juggling work. Probably juggling family life. Now you have to come to school as well. How flexible, is it for workers?
Yeah, so go ahead.
Sorry. So I think one of the things that our students actually appreciate about our postgraduate program is the fact that it's very, very flexible. In fact, we acknowledge that most of our students are working professionals. We have lawyers, judges, business executives. And so we have designed our program in such a way that it really accommodates the busy schedule. Let me use myself as an example. In fact, I also enrolled on the LLM Natural Resource Law some years ago. Whilst doing that, I was in active private practice. And any litigation lawyer would know that litigation is not a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
And so whilst I was doing that, I also had 2 kids at home that I was catering for. But I was able to successfully complete the program. And so it is designed so flexibly that it would accommodate working mothers, professionals to be able to undertake the course. And we are very intentional about it. What have we done? We've made sure that we've moved our campus to the central, online. So it is so flexible, but we do not compromise on our academic quality.
I see. That's very good.
And the lectures are in the evenings.
Exactly.
Then the evenings
and
as
so
well.
And if you are unable to attend physically, so the priority is come to the classroom. If you cannot be online, if you cannot, we record all lectures.
You've convinced me enough. Show me how to apply at this point.
Okay.
I think I'll be one of your students. Doc, I'll be in your class. I hope you'll be nice
that would
to
be
me.
excellent.
Yes. How do we apply?
Isn't it marvelous? We have an alumni sitting right here.
I know,
Yes. So just go to our website, law.ug.edu.gh.
Law.ug.
Law.edu.
Okay.
Law.ug.edu.gh.
Okay. Is there a number to call as well, just in case?
Yes.
I think
it's on the screen. Okay, so there you have it. If you want to call, please quickly take a screenshot of the screen now or scan the barcode on there so it can take you directly onto the website if you're watching us now and you're interested in, getting yourself a master's in law from the University of Ghana. And that should be your only option. Don't go anywhere else. I mean, we've done the convincing. It's up to you to now apply. So Doc will be your lecturer in class. See you in class soon. Thank you so much for joining us. And any final words quickly before
one thing I'll add is we are very careful about who our lecturers are.
Okay.
And we bring in industry practitioners.
Nice.
So we don't just have academic lecturers, but we have industry practitioners.
All right.
In the field of national security, for instance. You come and meet national security couples in IT law. You come and meet practitioners in that field, in all the fields.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And we're going back to Avenant now. We're not getting very good news from the building collapse sites because we're told that the death toll has increased to 3. Christian Yali is there now and he'll update us on it. Christian, what can you tell us?
Yes, exactly. So we know that yesterday when this happened, after the rescue effort, the figure we got as of yesterday was that 2 had passed on or died, and then 2 survivors were sent to the hospital. Now, the update that we are getting right about now, is that one of the 2 survivors has also passed on at the hospital, bringing the death toll now to 3. And so I'm just about to engage the commanding officer of the 48th Engineers Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces, Lieutenant Colonel Amponsa, who has been leading the team here by far to get the details exactly. So can you confirm this figure to us?
Yeah, so as you rightly stated, as at yesterday, we have rescued 4 victims.
Out of the 4, 2 were alive and were receiving treatment at the police hospital. And then 2 were dead, who were deposited at the police morgue. But this morning, we did a follow-up at the police hospital. And then, unfortunately, another victim has passed on. So that brings the death toll to 3, with 1 survivor. It is also important to know that the surviving victim is currently receiving treatment at the Ridge Hospital.
No more at the police hospital?
No more at the police hospital.
Okay, that is striking to note, but I also realize that you've brought some low beds to more or less like tow the earth-moving machines away. What is happening?
Okay, so our disaster response operation has 3 main phases. Phase 1 was the initial response action by the respondents. Phase 2 was the emergency response or rescue operation. And phase 3 is the withdrawal. So as you can see, as at yesterday 2000 hours, we were through with our response operations. We transitioned into the final phase, which was the collection of the debris. And as at this morning, we are 100% through with the collection of the debris. So at this stage, we are withdrawing from the incident scene as we are done with our operation.
Does it mean that you may come back later, or your part of the job is done?
So far as the specific response operation regarding the collapse of this 3-story building is concerned, we are done with that operation and we have to withdraw.
Maybe finally, we understand that other structures close to where the collapse had happened have become more or less like death trap. There is this story building that we see. What happens to that? Are you going to obtain any kind of permit to bring those ones down as well?
Yes, so as the Interior Minister clearly stated, and as you can visibly see or assess the facility or the structure, it is a death trap. However, for us to be engaged in any demolition of this structure, we need a permit or authorization. So I think that internal arrangement is being made, and once the decision is taken by the appropriate authority, we, the military, will be taxed appropriately to execute the demolition of the adjacent structure in order to prevent or to limit or prevent any form of risk or danger to others.
Thank you so much. And so I have been engaging Lieutenant Colonel Amponsa, who is the commanding officer of the 48th Engineers Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces.
Can you hear me?
That is the update we have been bringing to you.
Can you hear me, by the way?
Have 3 of the people passing on. One died just this morning at the police hospital. Now the final survivor is now transferred to the Greater Accra Regional Hospital from the police hospital. Now the machines are being towed away. We understand that investigations are still ongoing to ascertain exactly what happened and what caused the actual collapse of the 3-story building, which has brought us here this morning. This is the second in less than a week, and it raises a lot of questions that we've already discussed. And so that is the update we have for you. Christian Yale, I'm doing this with John Ninepence, back to you in studios.
Thank you so much, Christian Yale. And we needed just some further details on this matter, because as of this morning, we had been told that there was still the search for one more individual, you know, under the debris. So that's what I wanted to understand, because now we're being told that, unfortunately, death toll has risen to 3 and 1 person is still surviving. So does that mean that they've been able to take everyone out from beneath the debris and there's no more you know, a search for one more person? But it's still very heartbreaking, and we hope that we don't record another of such incidences, you know, in subsequent days. But may their souls rest in perfect peace. But it's time now to celebrate birthdays. Right before we wrap up, we have very limited time. But if it's your birthday today, happy birthday to you. One going out to Alice from Poma AJ of Prudential Life Insurance, Osu Branch. God bless you. This is from your husband and your children. Happy birthday also to everyone else who's celebrating their birthday today. Claudia Adoma Kwatri of Nadmo at Denton, from Chris Kwatri at Fiawonu. Also to Alice from Poma again, happy birthday to you. This is from Roland Walker. Ayeye Rama Bobi of AGS OUB, wishing you long life. This is from your parents and siblings. Happy birthday going out to Ernest Odro, aka Ora of Salisbridge Bar and Grill. Happy birthday. This is from your sisters. To Esther Nakode Nelson. This is also from your sisters. They love you dearly. It's Chris Breggy, praying for God's blessings over your life. This is from your brother Oliver George. Happy birthday also to Ifwa Nkoni Amfo of Asaman Kesi Government Hospital. God bless you from Yawa Samoa. Yawa Asamoah. Obibaya Akofa Gogo Soko. Happy birthday. This is from Maxwell to you. To Karen Pearl Na Dede Ayite. This is from Mom and Dad. Happy birthday, cutie. Also to Comrade Jefferson. Keep being an amazing communicator. This is from Takwa and Soyem NDC Group. Okay. Christiana Ama. This is from your students. They love you and they say enjoy your day from the entire AGCM UEW family. To Ebenezer Abe Brown. This is also from your loved ones. Happy birthday to you. God bless you. Julie Inkum. Happy birthday to you and may you get all you desire. Jonathan Gasco Kobla. May all your dreams come true. This is from Della, Jifa, and Selassie. Queen Maria Kini Jua. This is also from your family and friends. They're saying enjoy your day. To Evelyn Menta Bonsu, wishing you good health and peace from Sisoa family. Ashele Ama of Teshi. This is from Elder Ashiboy. Happy birthday. To Mary, may your day be filled with joy and your year with abundant blessings. This is from Simmons. To Emanuela Ejari of East Cantonment Pharmacy. Happy birthday, Emanuela. Reverend Obed Kwabna Ejakwa, have a great year from Ni Odoe. Also to Evans Godsway Amuzu, happy birthday. This is from your lovely wife and kids. From Doris Darko in Dubai and Carolina Nana Asabia Darko, mom and daughter. God bless you both. Amen. Senior Nicholas in Tre, happy birthday. Enjoy your day. To Jewel, God bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you from your entire family. Happy birthday, Grace Ameya of Techiman. This is from your mom, Cynthia Techiwa. Also to Christine Solomon. Happy birthday. This is from your family to you. Happy birthday going out to Esther Ahmad Daite. Glorious birthday. Elder Bismarck Deborah. This is from the Church of Pentecost, Taifa English Assembly. God bless you. Usu Warai. Oh, Warai, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday, my friend. God bless you. This is a nice picture of you, by the way. And also to Klenam Agbozo. Happy birthday. This is from your family to you, age gracefully. And happy birthday to who else? Okay, that's it. All right. So happy birthday. Enjoy your day. If your name wasn't mentioned, your picture wasn't projected, don't worry. We're still celebrating you anyway. God bless you so much. And good morning. Going out to a very good friend of mine. Of course, you know yourself. Good morning. Thank you so much for the special present. And everyone else, happy birthday. God bless you. So that's how we wrap up today's edition of TV3 Newday. We'll see you again tomorrow morning, 6 to 10 a.m. But of course, TV3 is here for you all day. We'll keep you updated. Sports is up next. News is at 12. And we'll carry on with the rest of the day. So keep watching. See you tomorrow.